stop things from coming in.
Bro,
you don't open your window?
For what? The breeze that doesn't exist, nigga? We
Fuck,
open
you
the
stay
window
in prison?
Hey, I'm not letting out. Hey, I'm like Bernie Mac here. Like, you letting, close the goddamn door, air condition the whole neighborhood, man.
Oh, fuck.
Sean's neighbors look at him when he's not around, and they're like, "That's Brooke, Sean."
Bro, I'm telling you.
That's the poorhouse.
See,
Oh, no.
They can't even afford screens.
These are the things you learn when you move to the South, right? First thing I learned is people don't keep a light on outside their house at night. You know, when I was in Chicago, you always turn on the porch light or something. You don't just
bugs.
Your house, yeah. Man, you turn on your light here. I was like, what the fuck?
You just get a fucking swarm in front of your house?
Yes. It's just a swarm by the light. Yeah, you just get a swarm by the light.
That's why I'm surprised you don't have any screens to keep the motherfuckers out.
Everybody, that's why you have, I had never had a house with the different air conditioning unit for upstairs and downstairs till I moved here either. You got to keep this shit cool. That's why they don't have screens. They're like, you got 2 air conditioning units. Fuck you opening the windows for?
That's also Sean trying to brag too. Like, my house so big, I need 2 ACs. Okay, yeah. I mean, that's just a counter.
He's trying to make up for that broke comment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Trying to make up. Like, look at man.
If you have any stairs in your crib, you got two AC units. It don't matter how big the damn house is.
He got two ACs levels, with no screens. How that makes sense?
You had 2 AC shit. My cousin, she had a condo, or not a condo, but a townhouse with 2 AC units. So it's just like, hey,
and she had screens.
No screens, bro. Man, nada.
So wait a minute, not central air, but like the box air conditioners. But wait, what are we talking about?
No, you have 2 central air units.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how at my mother-in-law's house it was like that. There's a unit for upstairs and then a unit for downstairs. So just because it doesn't flow like, it doesn't have like a good flow. And I think Sean's house had like hers where there's some parts of the house like in your sort of, I guess, receiving room. You guys have high ceilings in there, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So then you can't run ducts.
Yeah.
They're like, we finna get y'all for all the money we can get y'all for.
Right.
If we can, we're gonna put 3 ACs in there.
So the upstairs AC went out on Friday. So guess what? I slept on the goddamn couch. Too fucking hot upstairs.
I mean, how's that different from any other days of the week?
Hey man, I paid a lot for that bed.
You want to play Xbox on the big TV anyway.
Right.
I do it all the time.
Hey, we just got new mattresses in this.
Hold
bitch.
on, time out. No, Delvin, no.
Yes,
I do it all the time. Shut up.
I'm not even going.
No, you don't want to open your Pandora's box of problems.
No, I'm not getting into that.
My bedroom is my living room.
Not today, Satan. Not today. Not today.
Dylan's got a whole ass arcade in his bedroom, living room.
Yes, facts.
But still has an empty apartment next door that he can completely live in.
No,
that's the only not baller thing I've ever done. One of my boys, his neighbors, he had back in the day, he had an Xbox in the living room and in his bedroom. I was like, damn it, that's lazy. But it's also baller.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not quite that lazy yet.
So just so you guys know, I hit record a long time ago. So I'm just welcome these people. Yeah, because you know how the Zoom likes to snitch. Like, this is not no secret call. These guys came on purpose. But what's up, everybody? This is latest episode of I don't know, what is it, fucking Cadillac on Mars, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, Cadillac on Mars.
We got a special voice with us tonight. I mean,
how the fuck you a special guest and you on the show?
Me? I'm busy, motherfucker. I don't know what you want me to say.
Nah, it's like, I mean, even when your uncle shows up once a year, he's still a special guest, even though he's still part of the family.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm
quarterly. You got to highlight.
Special guest, our regular co-host.
No.
Hey man, I'm like them episodes of Martin with Nipsey was on there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was part of the cast for Choice Theater all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those.
Hey man, I'm just trying. Why you gotta throw salt in the game, Delvin? I'm just trying to introduce the guy, let people know.
You can't be a special guest if you live here.
You know, you're a special guest, but for different reasons.
No, that's a whole different special.
Good Lord, your life is special, man. Relax.
Yes, it is. Too special.
Yeah, that's true.
But you got me, Chaufie. You got Shaun here tonight. We got Delvin on the scene. We got my man T. It's a full fucking whip right now.
Motherfucker, as Shaun just said.
I'm playing the show right now. I just struck out.
That's how you know how dedicated Shaun is to the podcast. He was
you can at least lie and say you was watching Instagram and saw that Meg Thee Stallion video or something.
No, he told us.
I did. First off, I did. You know, Dre texted me about that. You know, he did. Dre was just
shit,
like, "Hey."
And I was on a podcast and my phone went off and it showed up like, "Whoa, I got to leave this podcast."
Wait, well, enlighten. What is this video?
I don't want to say.
Well, hold on. It's like the Matrix.
Yeah.
You know, you can't explain it. You just have to experience it for yourself.
Yeah. I'm not putting that out there. I'm not
getting in trouble. Have to Google.
You can hear me typing right now.
I am not getting you. I'm not getting in trouble with Chaufie's people. I'm good. I shouldn't even brought it up. I don't know what Meg Thee Stallion video. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
I didn't see nothing. No.
Yeah. Now my wife's gonna ask me what was it. Now I'd be like,
as a matter of fact, I was at Bible study.
Yeah, I'm reading 1 Corinthians chapter 5. I don't know what you're talking about, brother.
Bible study. Look, Supreme Court now this? God, this ain't no fucking
look at T-Face. T-Face says it all. T-Face says it all.
Hold on, now I gotta actually look at my phone and it's
well.
Yeah, T-Face said it all. Like, I didn't have to say nothing.
Send it over, T.
Oh, it's on its way, sir.
Yeah. I was flabbergasted. Like, is this legal? Like, should I be watching this?
That's hilarious.
Oh boy,
it's weird getting old, man. I'm just gonna point that out to y'all, man.
Yeah,
this is like, this doesn't seem. This is problematic, right?
Yeah. Should I be watching this? Does there need to be that little sound they make on the Pornhub videos before this?
That's stupid. You know what? That's hilarious.
Shaun got that.
That's hilarious.
You know how when people fight with those like the kids fight with those overinflated boxing gloves, and so they just like, that's what this looks like.
Yes.
You're stupid as hell.
Yes.
It's a little kid fucking swinging those big old gloves.
Yeah.
That, or do you remember those fucking giant balloons that had the rubber band?
Yes, I remember all these things.
The punching balls,
yeah.
I do want to say that is actually a skill, like quite skill. Yes. Everybody can't just do that.
No.
All right, y'all can start talking and start watching.
Also, that was like a level of stamina too, because the positioning, like,
I thought so too. There's a reason that the term Megan knees is a thing.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I'm glad we're breaking this shit down like the Olympics.
Like the Zapruder film.
This is the fucking Zapruders over here. I'm like, look at from the left to the back.
Oh my God.
I just, like, let's get hypothetical. Like, let's say like Meg Thee Stallion tears her ACL. Like, is it just over? You know what I'm saying? Like, what happens after that?
That was the whole thing. When old boy shot her, it was like, bruh, you fucking up the bag.
Yeah. You're fucking up all our fun. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Hey, you gonna have all the Tory Lane supporters coming out the podcast.
Fuck him. He can suck a dick.
He can eat a dick. They all can eat a dick along with him. It's all easy.
He didn't do that. Look at her feet. They don't look like they've been shot.
They can shut all the fucking way up.
Yep.
All the fucking way up.
I'm like, nobody said that he shot her with a goddamn missile launcher. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Like,
just saying he shot. Like, that's it. Period. Like,
now all these motherfuckers are CSI crime scene investigators. You see the bullet cut the ricochet this way. Shut the fuck up. What the fuck are y'all talking about?
Yes.
Like, just because you watch Law and Order don't mean you got the, you know what I'm saying, or the first 48 don't mean you know shit.
Yeah, just because you were snitching on the first 48 don't mean you an actual detective.
Right.
You were just on that telling.
Nobody
I listen to true crime podcasts. I know what to do.
Yeah, nobody said she got shot with, like, a hollow tip. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's not how that works.
Like, you're ridiculous.
Nah, it's for real.
Yeah, but
you know what? Clearly by this video, she's recovered. So
fully recovered.
I'm telling you, one of these days she's gonna be out for 8 to 10 with a torn meniscus, and then the game is gonna be changed.
Thank God they didn't shoot her in the ass. That'd have been tragic.
Oh, he wouldn't have been with us anymore. I think if that happened, somebody would have got his ass.
I would have killed his ass.
They would have been.
Yeah.
You got to go, my brother.
Universal disturbance in the force.
Yeah. You got to go.
Yeah.
You ain't got to leave, but you got to get up out of here.
It's like Obi-Wan in the first one. It's just like, oh, 1,000 souls have just been extended.
You all feel it in once, like, oh no, maybe that's how you got shot, Dad.
Yeah. It'd have been a problem.
No.
Damn.
Well,
I don't even know where to go from here.
No, I definitely would have had friends texting me like, "Did you feel that?
Yeah.
Is there something wrong? What's going on?"
I appreciate that T has space in his background. We should figure out a way to add the Cadillac somewhere in there. That would be cool as fuck.
Just have it like floating around. No, but do it. If you could do it like
just go in the
like
background.
how the old the DVD used to bounce
when
it was the screensaver.
Hey,
yes.
You should change the name of the podcast to Bikes on Mars and the gas prices go down, man.
Gee, that's true.
You know, the Cadillacs got the big ass gas tanks, man.
Electric Cadillacs on Mars.
What's
wild.
What's y'all gas prices looking like, Chaufie?
Right now,
$40 a gallon
on a good day with a grocery store discount. No, it's like fuck. Right now, I drove by a gas station today. I think it was like $6.59 for premium, and then so then what? Like I think $6.09.
You could probably get some Coke for cheaper than that these days. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, Jesus.
Yep, a full brick.
Yeah.
Full, like you can make some money off of this. What's it like out in Georgia?
4.30 something, I think.
Oh, y'all better than us.
Yeah,
It's always like in the fours. It hasn't been under 4 in a long time.
We are at $4.75 in Miami.
Shit,
there was a spot around here yesterday selling it for $3.99, and that made the news.
Damn.
Oh yeah.
But it's normally right now. I got the one around the corner from my house is $4.74. So that's usually where I just go.
I've been saying that if one of these gas companies was smart, they would just undercut the fuck out of everybody because they're making an extreme amount of profit on this. So they would just undercut the fuck out of everybody. They would
run out of gas.
Yeah, they would run out of gas. They would be just outselling everybody. Just do that.
Well, this is like
I'm trying to think. When did I come out there? 2018. I still remember getting off the plane back then and being like, God damn, they pay a lot for gas out here.
Yeah, no, we got wild amounts of tax like on our gas and stuff like that. And then I was watching something recently too that was talking about like why is California gas like so expensive? And there's like, I guess it's like now like turning into a larger investigation because there's like a mystery tax that's like, but it's still by the. It's almost like Ticketmaster saying like we're going to give you the like service charge plus a convenience fee plus a distribution fee, and it's like wait a minute, these are all redundant. Like they're all the same thing, and so there's a sort of tax by the gas companies in there as well. That's like wait a minute, you're like still pinching off extra, but it doesn't have a label, so it's like oh okay, we got a bigger problem here. And so I think it's something like it equates to like $5 billion a year for for California.
Somebody going to jail.
Yeah, no shit.
Somebody going to jail.
I was like, when I heard about it, I was like, this is some fucking Office Space shit. Because weren't they like, okay, we're just gonna take all the half cents, and then when they realized they made like all kinds of fucking money, I was like, that's what this is. But yeah,
they about to lock somebody up.
Nah, you know it is though. It's like Cali always just trying to basically they trying to make. Supply demand your ass to be like, stop driving them, man. You're killing us. It's all smog and shit out here. Cali just in the driving.
They pay a lot for gas to sit in traffic.
Well, yeah, I'm saying it's like you can't not drive out there. Everything far the fuck away.
Which is wild to think about that. We're so far away.
Everything's way spread out. Like I will always.
It's like that down here too, though.
That's true. That is.
But it's nothing in Georgia.
But you can still get from A to B within the allotted time because this kind of ties into what I was going to say. Is I remember when Shaun came out here with his family, and he was like, I was like, oh yeah, we'll meet you at this Mexican restaurant. And he was like, oh cool, I'll see you in like 20 minutes. It only says it's like 20 miles away, and I just had the fucking like maniacal laugh. Where I was like, no, not at all, man. I'll see you in an hour and a half. 20 miles in California time. That's way different. Like
that's a day.
Yeah. That's you only do one thing in your day. That's it. So I don't know. These fucking gas prices are wild right now. It's like super insane. And I'm also sick and tired of seeing these fucking Joe Biden stickers on the gas pumps.
Same. They're like pointing like, I did that.
And it's like, did he? Did he really? Like, is that like okay?
I mean, it's also zero like he caused inflation as well.
Mm-hmm.
He caused everything.
So, like, the gas prices is high in Europe because of Joe Biden. That's what we're saying.
Right.
He is so powerful as a president. He caused gas prices to increase across the world.
Well, I mean, it's the same as COVID too. Like, even though it was global, it was because the Democrats were in control of COVID, even though it was global.
Yes.
Let's stop that.
I want to say, the only thing I'm gonna say about COVID is like, I feel like more people I know are catching it now than they ever were.
Yeah, because people stop wearing they all the mask requirements have gone away.
Yeah.
So people ain't rocking no mask no more. People are just like, fuck it.
Well, basically it's one of those things where it's like so many people are vaccinated, they're just like, well, you probably won't die, so whatever. And I feel like that's the universal kind of thought about it. But I'm like, you still can get sick as hell. Like, when has death become the barometer if we want somebody to get sick of it? Like, that shit is crazy.
People still dying. We just don't care now. They just ignore it. They just don't tell you people are dying.
Because this is how you get monkeypox. Wear your fucking mask. Come on, bro.
You remember when folks used to make fun of Asian people when they would wear a mask when they got caught a cold? Like, those motherfuckers knew what they was doing.
Yeah.
Damn sure did.
Look at this motherfucker with a mask on just because they got a cough.
This, math, and orange chicken, they got it on lock.
Yeah, I agree.
I would actually take Korean fried chicken over orange chicken personally.
Over all chicken. Black folk fried chicken, whoever fried chicken, Koreans got that shit on lock.
So I don't remember if I said this on this podcast.
If I said that, people be pissed at me.
Yeah.
I know me and Chaufie has talked about this, but the Korean fried chicken spot by my crib, their takeout technology is some of the craziest shit ever because it's 15 minutes away. And when I get home, that shit is still crispy as hell. I don't know what they're doing, okay? The shit is like magic.
That double fry,
man. You ain't never drove no chicken 15 minutes away and it's still crispy like it just this shit is crazy.
It's that rice flour and cornstarch. They do a different mix, and that shit, it definitely is crisp. I mean, I can't get from fucking.
God damn it! I'm going to give me some Korean fried chicken tomorrow. First off, I patently refuse to go to Popeyes because their service is so fucking terrible. Like I will not go. Like, if my wife wants Popeyes, I'm like, if you go get it, you can have it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going. I refuse.
Popeyes is always annoyed too. When you go to Popeyes,
I'm not sitting there.
This motherfucker.
Yeah, why am I sitting in the Popeyes line for 45 minutes for them to tell me they don't have shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, why is the line always so long? They take people are getting chicken. They can just cook chicken until people order this shit because they're gonna order it. What y'all doing? You frying the shit to order? That's not what y'all supposed to be doing.
And I tell people all the time, man, it's not even like, oh, that's Popeyes in the hood or that's over here, whatever.
That's every single Popeyes.
I have been to Popeyes on each coast of this country. I have been to Popeyes in Canada, in a couple of cities in Canada, in fact, and it's always the same. Popeyes internationally finds the worst people to work there.
Yeah.
I was like, if we go to Popeyes like in fucking like London, is it gonna be the worst ever? Like, is it still gonna be that?
Well, because I think their work manual has one page and it just says be on some bullshit. Like that's it. And then they're like, all right.
Like, granted, they got some. Look, the Popeyes chicken sandwich is good. They got some good chicken, but it ain't worth all that.
The move is this. I'm telling you already. If you really fuck with Popeyes chicken sandwich, go to KFC, get they spicy John. You'll be fine.
The KFC chicken sandwich is underrated. It is really.
It's pretty good. It's really good.
It's a solid stand-in. If you like, man, Popeyes on some bullshit.
But the problem around my crib, KFC is just as fucking bad.
Damn, are we?
Yeah. Last time I went there to get a sandwich, dude was like, all right, I'm doing a drive-through and I'm cooking, so it's gonna be a minute. You're doing what, sir?
What?
We went past my youngest kid wanted to try that strawberry frosty, and we went to the Wendy's bar in our hood, right? We pull up on the sign. The sign says, "App orders only. We have no staff."
Yeah, sound about right.
Well, now, granted, I did go to Wendy's one time and the drive-through line was long. So my thing is always, if the drive-through line is long as hell, I'm just go in. There's nobody in there.
Yep.
So I went in. A couple people went in. As I was walking out, they put up a sign that said drive-through only, and they locked the door. As each one of us went out, I was like, damn, y'all struggling.
What did your kid think of that? What did your kid think of the strawberry frosty?
It shit tastes like strawberry quick, nigga. That shit is delicious. that shit tastes like strawberry quick, bro. That shit's fire as hell. That shit is good. If you like strawberry quick, you will like it.
I thought it was really, really good, but it's still hard to beat the OG, the chocolate frosty.
Okay.
I mean, like you said, it's just like when you think of a frosty, that's what you think of. But the strawberry shake at Whataburger tastes just like. Hold on,
I got to clarify something real quick too, because this is black people fuck with strawberry quick. I thought that was just Mexicans.
No, man.
I used to love that shit when I was a kid.
What?
The last time I had it. So you remember my boy Hayden, right? From C2E2.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Wait, dude, like the last time I had a strawberry quick, we was out one night, drunk as hell for no reason. I walked past the gas station. I was like, he wanted to get something. I walked past the fridge. I was like, a strawberry quick, nigga. I ain't had one of them in forever. It was delicious as hell at 2:00 in the morning.
You see how T laughing because you know how absurd it sounds. Of course we do.
I didn't know, man. I didn't know.
We used to have like the little boxes where you can mix the quick up and stuff. That was our thing.
The powder hit way better than the ready-made shits.
Oh, yeah, strawberry quick. The hit.
Now, when Strawberry Quick came out, it was like that one, that meme or that video, I'm Not a Rapper. Like, everybody was just going crazy. Like, oh, shit. They got strawberry now. This shit is crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, man, I remember, I could distinctly remember the first time I whipped up or had some Strawberry Quick whipped up for me on the metal tin. And yeah, it was really like that, where like how T's background is in space. That's where my mind was. I was like,
yes.
Whoa.
It's so good.
I know about,
man. I was like, oh, is this what being
about,
high is like? Because
like if you ain't never opened a metal tin with a butter knife, then you ain't grew up in the 80s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that shit was on that bitch tight.
Yes.
That shit was when you was a shorty, that shit was like, what the fuck? How do they press this bitch on here?
Right.
Nah, pressure. You don't get that. You don't get that.
That was the truth. That motherfucker was a bitch to open. And then that's when you found out later that people that was the ultimate vault for like saving money and precious items. Because it was like, you could not open it. Like if you didn't understand like leverage and force, you were not opening that son of a bitch at all. Zero.
Yeah, man, you gotta have a strawberry.
I know they still make the powder, but it's like in a plastic tub.
It's in a plastic tub. Yeah, not the same.
It ain't. Yes, it's not the same. My kids do like it, but yeah, it's not. It's not the same.
It is apparently not available. Wait a minute, they got just this particular size is unavailable on Amazon currently. You got to slot over one, go down to the 9.38 ounces.
It was a commercial. I saw like a quick commercial with DJ Metcalf, and they got all types of different flavors now. I'm like vanilla, nigga. Ain't that just milk? Like I'm confused. Like what
sweet ass milk.
That's just vanilla almond milk. Like stop playing.
Oh my god.
Like what are we doing? I'm confused. I
don't
know what was happening. It's real shit, man.
Man, they just eat with the okie doke, huh? You're like, wait a minute. You just sold me what I already bought.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's not even no flavor in here. Y'all took the other flavors out and just sold the milk. You know what I'm saying? That's some bullshit.
I might have to go get some Strawberry Quick after we record tonight because that sounds like it would be delish.
Wait a second, nigga. We are old, okay?
Yeah.
So that shit hits your stomach a lot differently than when you were a child, okay?
Yeah. You get that little lactose in the system.
That is a lot of sugar. And you like, I felt terrible after I drank that shit, but it was worth it. Fuck, that was a lot of sugar.
Yeah, but you also said you went out for a night of drinking. So, like, what was it?
Yeah.
I mean, I've trained my body to take the alcohol. I don't eat as much sugar anymore. It's different.
Oh my god!
You drank with me. I take that shit like nothing. You know what I'm saying? I got that shit under control.
Best thing Shaun put me on to was the taking some Tums before it's like time to go to bed.
Oh yeah, you gotta have the Tums, man. You gotta hit that. That makes
watch that reflux.
Yeah, sleep like a baby.
Yeah, wake up feeling great. I told I have this. I don't know if I've shared this here. I'm very, very close with my my PTA ladies, and one of the PTA ladies, she goes out every Tuesday night, and sometimes when we have meetings in the morning on Wednesday morning, she hasn't returned home yet, and so So she'll walk on in. The other PTA lady already knows. She comes through with like
wait, they do it. Y'all have meetings every Wednesday morning?
No, not every, but like majority of the time when we do meet, it'll be like a Wednesday morning. Hold
on, I'm about to text my wife, be like, I don't never remember you being at the school doing for a morning meeting. She'd have quit the PTA if they heard her doing that type of shit.
Oh no, but you know what it is that my PTA consists of like 4 people, and these 2 ladies, like they're man. You know what? If you needed road dogs, this is them. If you were doing crimes, you would have these ladies on your team. So the reason why we do the Wednesday morning meetings is that we'll be like, and it'll just be the 3 of us, because then one of them will be like, well, I guess that means I'm picking up breakfast burritos. And I'm like, sounds like you are. So I give her reason to get breakfast burritos. And then the other one who hasn't gone home yet, she's getting breakfast burritos and a Coke. So she's like, okay, she's good. Everyone wins.
Wait a second. I'm gonna ask the obvious question. T and Delvin might be a little bit nicer. They don't want to ask it.
Okay.
What the fuck were her children?
Oh, so they actually run this like this facility out of their home for like people or adults with special needs. So her husband is home with the kids, and then her husband tends to, because they can't really go out together. Someone has to be home. So I believe the husband goes out on Thursdays. He usually doesn't go out a full, like he'll be home like at 10 or some shit or whatever. Usually he rides like his motorcycles or something. But for her, she's got like her homegirl she goes out with.
I'm just gonna say it. It sounds like they got a front to be swingers. That's all I heard.
Oh no, we've talked about that in the office too, where the other lady was like, "Are you guys swingers? Is that why you're always out? Like you on dates?" And she's like, "No, I'm not hooking up with other people." She's like, "I'm just getting crazy drunk." She's like, "I'm still drunk now." I'm like, you can't really talk about that like in the office right now. Stop it.
Can't say that at work.
Yeah, at my work, like at a school. Well, like also, you can't be telling me you're doing that. You just dropped off your daughter. No. What are you doing?
In her defense, that's a volunteer position. She can say whatever the fuck she wants to. She's not getting paid. So, but also, it's not a good look. But you can say that.
Yeah, no.
Just like one of my old coworkers told me. She said, "Look, if you read the rules in most offices, you can't drink at work. It doesn't say anything about being drunk there." So
that's a good point. That is a solid point.
Yeah.
You know what? It's always about finding the gray. You know, like
she's like, it's not a good look, but it's not against any rule.
Yeah.
You
know, can't be
it's
mad
what
at
it
that.
said, not what it didn't say.
That logic,
exactly,
kind of sound.
Yeah, I respect it. You know, because like, I mean, isn't that a lawyer's duty is to find like loopholes and inconsistencies? Yeah. Hey, sorry, your contract says no drinking on the job.
I was just telling
much like the Supreme Court. That's their job too to find
consistencies. We're not getting to that right now. Loopholes. I was just telling one of my boys. I was watching this video, and it was like this attorney was walking out with his client, and before they came out, he was just like, "Hey, give me your cell phone." So he went out because he knew what was about to happen. So he went out. Some cops approached him and said, "Hey, we got a warrant for this, and that. We need your cell phone." And he's like, "Well, I don't have it." And he's like, "Where is it?" He's like, "My attorney has it." And he's like, "Well, can you turn it over?" And the attorney's like, "You got a warrant for him, not me. I don't have to give you shit."
That's smart.
And so
that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it caused like this whole big thing, and the cops like arrested him for obstruction of justice, and he had to go to trial, and eventually he won, and they got fired.
Damn,
nice. That's brilliant.
Because he was right. Yeah, because he was like, your search warrant has nothing. It does not say that you can ask me for my clients. Yeah, you can't search me, and that's my client. That's privileged. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't do that. So,
because then it would be interpreted as him even selling out his own client.
Right. Exactly.
So was this attorney Saul Goodman? That sounds like some Better Call Saul shit. Like, that's smart.
That is kind of true. It's
kind of like on Flight when when they got Denzel some coke, but Don Cheadle refused to pay him. He was like, "I'm not gonna pay the drug dealer. I'm the attorney." He was like, "Go ahead and pay that dude for me." Because I don't want. He was like, "I don't want there to be any evidence that I was dealing with a drug dealer." I was like, "Damn, that motherfucker is smart."
Smart.
Yeah, my son was asking me recently. He was like, "Is it true that just like lawyers are nothing but liars?" And I was like, "No, I said, it's not about lying. It's about manipulating. I was like, you got to control the dialogue and figure out like, where are the holes in the conversation and where somebody else messed up. He goes, so if you can prove that, then you could be all right. And he was like, maybe I want to be a lawyer. He's like, because I love arguing. I was like, you do. This motherfucker argues all the time. This idiot. He said to me yesterday. Okay, so he started summer school. He just finished middle school. He's going into his freshman year of high school, and I enrolled him into summer school because he had decided to be a jackass and purposefully tank his algebra class. We actually had a really bad teacher, but that really doesn't warrant my son giving up at all, which he just legitimately did. But I get home from lunch. I was like, pick him up yesterday. I was like, hey, what do you want for lunch? And he's like, I think I want like a cup of noodle. But it was like one of those bigger bowls, like the bigger ramen type ones. And they were real super spicy. I said, are you sure? Because it's like fucking 88 degrees. And then he's like, yeah. Which also let me know too that my son is a true fucking Mexican. Because anyone growing up in a Mexican household, you know that your mom on the hottest of fucking days will be cooking up some fucking chicken pozole. And be like, I'm sweating. The last thing I need is a steamy bowl of soup in my fucking face. This is my son
wearing like khakis and a flannel button to the top when he actually.
No, but this goddamn idiot was wearing a full ass hoodie.
That's crazy.
What are you doing, man? Like you got to really reevaluate your life. So, anyways, he got pissed because the soup would not cool down, and so
he was mad the soup wouldn't cool down. What was he mad at? The soup?
So today I was like, hey. I was like, because he was supposed to hang out with his friend. And I was like, okay, in the interim, I'll pick up your lunch. When I pick you up, you'll have your lunch. What do you want to have for lunch? And he's like, I don't know. He's like, but do you remember yesterday? And I was like, yeah, what about yesterday? He goes, man, I was really mad at my soup. I was like, you were really mad at those noodles. He's like, man, it just was hot. It didn't cool down.
I am perplexed by this.
How you gonna get mad at fucking cup of noodles?
Who heated up the soup? Did he heat it up?
I did for him. But how you gonna be like, hey, it's not a person. It's not like, hey, remember when T said that thing and it got real fucking pissed? Like, it wasn't that. It was like, hey, remember when I was mad at the soup?
Yeah, you better drop some ice cubes in that motherfucker or something. You gotta,
I told him.
Improvise.
He said no. You can't put the ice cubes in there because then it makes it too watery.
He's right.
Isn't it like 80% water? I'm confused.
Right.
It takes the flavor out of it.
Right. What the fuck is wrong with you?
It takes the flavor out of it. Because it's spicy.
It waters down the seasoning, correct. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a specific amount of water supposed to be used for them shits. Yes. Now, I have been told when it's wild hot,
also a teenager. They eat any fucking thing.
People drink hot beverages, like especially in like Asian countries or like Middle Eastern and Southeast.
Hot coffee on a hot day
because your body trying to do what it has to do to get your temperature right will cool you down. Yeah. So like maybe hot moves is the move. You know what I'm saying? Hot soups and bevs.
I like hot soup in general. So
this fool was sweating too because it was also the Tapatio one. Where it's like the ultra hot and spicy.
That's the one I buy.
So he was
the only hot beverage I drink when it's warm outside is coffee. Other than that, all my shit need to be on ice.
I drink a lot of coffee.
No, man. But if I'm piss out here, coffee
if I'm out, so like if I'm actually out somewhere, I'll get an iced coffee. But if I'm in the crib, it don't matter how hot it is. I'll drink hot coffee.
Nah, I do the hot coffee outside all the time. Even when if we go pick up a coffee in the summer, and then they'll be like, "Oh, you want that iced?" And I'm like, "No, like I want the hot version."
Put no ice in my coffee.
Did I ask you? Did I ask you for iced coffee, motherfucker?
Right. And I lean over to my wife and I'm like, "Hey, remember when I was mad at that coffee?"
I will say, like McDonald's coffee will literally just try to kill you. Like it wants to burn your face off.
I don't buy coffee from McDonald's anymore.
But
that's why I don't.
That's the real. Speaking of lawyers, you know what I'm saying? That's where a lot of Americans got their ideas of lawyers being dirty or shady or whatever. Mm-hmm. In reality, that we just talked about this recently on a recent scam. That case was wild.
But all she wanted was her medical fees paid, right? She wasn't asking for a lot initially. Because
they made the coffee so hot that it burned through the bottom of their fucking cup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like
her crotch.
That's what I'm saying. Like maimed her genitals and stuff. Yeah. So it wasn't like someone was like, oh, hot. No, it was like
she didn't ask for all that money. They gave it to her like punitive damages, right?
That's the point.
She didn't ask for all that. Yeah.
People, they you know what I'm saying, McDonald's, and then the news basically in cahoots with McDonald's was telling the story like this woman sued over hot coffee. Don't you want your coffee hot? Like y'all have not told the entire story as always, which is how we end up in the situation we're in this country right now. So
because that was the whole dialogue. Is like, look, now they got a label. You know it's hot, and it's like, no. When you really find out what the story is, it's like, oh, someone fucked up. This wasn't just hot coffee. This was like you gave someone lava. Like it popped the bottom of the cup, burned through her pants. Like she needed skin grafts and shit. So it wasn't just like, ooh, hot.
This is also why they have rules to why you can't, the 14 to 15-year-olds you hire can't be doing that shit because they don't fucking care.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, zero. No doubt. That shit is fucking crazy.
But I told my son, though, real talk, side note, I did tell my son, I'm like, you turn 16 in September, and McDonald's is giving out $15 hours these days. You better get you a fucking job. You balling out. That's what no Joey Jobs making fucking $5.15. Shit. You better go get this $15.
Yeah, it needs to get paid for sure. But Shaun, man, it's been a long time since you've been on. What have you been doing? Where you been?
I have no idea when the last time I was on here was. So
that was 8 years ago.
Episode 2.
Has he been on in 2022?
Yes.
No.
I have.
Yeah.
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. I cannot remember when, but I was.
That sounds like cap.
How it was working crazy hours. I remember talking about that.
Nah.
Shit, I don't know. Hold on. I'm about to look on. I'm just look on the show, man, and see. I'm sure
you still have the link.
Let's see.
I know that Shaun is back to being a kept man.
Ah.
And that's right. I'm definitely house husband of Georgia these days. Yes.
No screen having ass.
Fuck you guys. That definitely was on this shit. You said no screen?
Yes.
Hey man. Hey, first off, I don't want that. I'm paying for this good AC, okay? I don't want that old crazy American dirty ass air. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want nature?
No, don't want that shit.
I'm curious. What do you think the AC air comes from? Do you think the AC just makes the air?
No, I mean, that shit gets filtered. Yeah, that's true. It does have a filter.
But it doesn't make it's the same air.
Yeah, you got the
same air. Still
you got the Bluetooth filter.
You might be right. It might have been last year.
It's not like the new air. It's not like the AC makes new air for us.
Filter, goddammit. Yeah, I get them baller ass filters too because I got bad allergies.
Yeah, that is true. But every so often I get a text from Shaun that'll be like, "This is the fucking pollen index," and it's just like skull and crossbones. Nope. You got allergies? You dead? Not at all, man.
I'm trying to think. I've been on since. I was on in February. California podcast legend.
Barely
the picture.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
That's when I was last on. So
man, let me tell you, that fucking Thanksgiving picture has really brought a lot of life.
Yes, it's got legs, man. Yeah,
yeah. Because fucking, I said something the other day, and there, boom, Mike Fowler, boom, fucking, there he is, two-faded.
Yeah. We almost had another one of those situations. It would have been bad. It wouldn't have been with Chaufie though, but it would have been really bad.
Oh, we'll get to that one, man, because that shit was fucking hilarious.
Yes,
but let's see. That's a funny question. Like, what have you been on since February? Well, shit. I mean, it's only been 4 fucking months. Let's see. We missed the whole softball season where my daughter's tournaments were averaging between 11 and 12 hours each tournament. So that was fun.
Fuck.
What?
Wow.
Yeah, we would usually. So the last tournament we had was probably the shortest one. I think we left here at 9. No, we left here at 8. got there at 9, and I want to say we left that park at 11 p.m.
Motherfuck.
And that was it, because most of the tournaments are 4-game guarantees. And so it's like, there's a bunch of people in the tournament and their breaks and all the other stuff. So and we're usually like an hour plus away. So yeah, we're averaging, we hardly ever get home before 11:30, 12 o'clock when she has tournaments.
Man, you need to invest in a little RV to then just be like, listen,
we sleeping out here tonight.
We're not going back home.
Well,
because that's what like a lot of families do out here.
It doesn't bother me to drive home. The morning drive is weird. Like in the morning, I get more tired. Driving at night, especially as dark as it is here, I'm like fucking uber focused. Mm-hmm. So that's never really bothered me. So if our tournament was really far, if I could, I would just get a hotel room, like closer to there on the night before, so we could, sleep in some and not have to get up as early. Because I'm just like, like the other people I coach with, it's 10 p.m. The girls are on their 5th game. They've been out there for 9.5, 10 hours. And they're like, oh, I'm like, most of these girls don't even stay up this late. Like, whatever we get is whatever we get. Like, it's not even a point in the last game of really going off on them, because
now it's just more a game of stamina than skill.
It's literally just attrition. You know what I'm saying? Like, who can stay awake and who can, still function when they've been out here all day. And then, like I was telling Chaufie, the heat index is 102 degrees, and then we've been out all day in this. It's just like everybody's fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just had the last tournament last weekend, not this past weekend before that. So now we're off until probably late August, early September for tournaments. But we got a tryout for the next season tomorrow that I got to go to.
Let me ask the weird question.
Yeah.
Why don't they split it up into 2 days?
I have no idea, because that's what the boys are, because they have to, because of pitching rules. But there are no pitching rules for girls, because since they pitch underhand, they're just like, we just get all this shit in 1 day. I would prefer 2 days, because I come from the baseball where my son was. Because with the tournaments, when it's 2 days, you play 2 games the first day, and you go home.
That makes sense.
I got these 2 games, and I'm gone. And then the next day is the bracket, and if we keep winning, we'll keep playing. But if we don't, we got this 1 game, and then let's go to lunch.
That makes so much more sense.
So,
yeah.
I don't get it either. I even saw a tweet from the Missouri softball coach, and she was just like, 6 games in a day. Like, why are we doing this to these girls? And I'm like, that's the same shit I said.
That's too much.
Everybody's looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, my daughter wants to quit every year.
Like, just in general, that's insane.
The first week after the season, every season, she's like, I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like, that's fine. And then, like, after she has a break, she's like, all right, I'll do it again. I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. Like, because you don't have to. I'm like, I got all types of shit I could be doing with my time.
That kind of sounds like what my daughter, even though she ain't doing fucking crazy tournaments like that. When it's off season, she's like, oh, I love soccer so much. This shit's so much fun. And then after like the second game, she's like, is this fucking season done yet? Like, I don't want to do practice. I don't want to be here anymore. This is terrible. Don't make me do it again. And we're always like, we didn't force you to do it. You eventually, once all your friends were like, we're doing soccer. Are you going to do soccer? And then she's like, oh, I can't wait to do it again. Because I'm like Shaun said, I can do a bunch of other shit on my Saturday, or even literally nothing on my Saturday.
That's
be on the soccer field.
So this was part of also the reason why I don't be on a bunch of podcasts. Because I was working 10 hours a day, 6 days a week. My only free day was the day I was spending 12 hours at the softball field. So I was just like, when I got off work, I had to do the things that I needed to do. I had to go to the store, had to go to the gym, had to just relax. Like, now that I got free time, I'm like, I've missed so many fucking shows. Yeah. It's just like, I have so much to watch. Yeah.
I remember Shaun hit me up one day. And what did you say? You had work like, was it 18 days in a row or something?
They made us work 2 weeks in a row, 10 hours a day. Yeah. And it was because of when they started that, it had already been a week. And then they're like, oh, you're going to work this weekend, then next weekend. So yeah, I work like 18 days, 19 days in a row or some shit like that, 10 hours a day.
Bananas, man.
We got off early like 1 or 2 of those days, I think. But yeah, it was sick. So when they were just like, oh, okay, we're going to end this program or whatever. And then I was like, I need some time off anyway because this shit is fucking insane. I'm like, I've worked more hours in the last 2 years than I had the previous 5 years combined.
Yeah.
It was kind of ridiculous. So it was just like, shit, when we went to Chicago, that was like one of the first times I had been off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had only had that was probably my 5th and 6th day off in a year when we were in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was kind of crazy. So that was pretty much all that's been going on since the last podcast is working 6 days, and then my one day off, I was at the softball field the whole day. So it's like, well, everybody's like, oh man, Sundays for relaxing. I'm like, well, I had to get up and fucking work. So
yeah,
I didn't relax. I didn't relax not one bit. So I don't miss that at all. I'm like, yeah, it was wild, man. It was wild times, as they say. So
what are you doing around the crib now? Like what's on your day-to-day list? What's a day in the life of Shaun, house husband, Washington?
The kid, the kids be having camps and shit that they have. So, I got to take them to camp, pick them up. My gym still has a weird ass COVID schedule. Mm-hmm. So it closes from 1:30 to 4. So I just try to get in the gym in the morning and get that shit over with. But I'm also not in a rush no more because I'm like, oh, I don't have shit to do. So
yeah,
let me actually take my time and do everything I want to do.
Wait, so your son's doing camp too?
He was going to basketball. He was going to basketball camp for a week. We signed him up for summer school, and they basically just emailed us like, miraculously, this motherfucker passed, so he don't need to go. I'm like, huh? And they were just like, yeah, no, he can't. And so he was going to a basketball camp. We're actually going to play him in a new school, and they got a basketball camp going this year. So he's going to do that in a couple weeks. But he's actually going to Chicago with my dad for a week.
Oh shit! Just by himself?
Yeah, I told him he got to go spend a week in the hood and see what what it's like. Since he thinks his life is so normal.
I'm gonna send my son with him too, because my son's out here claiming that he's from fucking O Block. I'm like, no.
Julian said that before. I'm like, are you serious, dude? I'm like, why would you say that? Why would you say that? That's not something that you like.
Keith.
Yeah, I'm like, it's ridiculous.
So I'm gonna send my son out there too.
One of his friends had called me because I used to coach him, and he was just like, Julian, is Julian really from O Block? He said that. I'm like, you fucking crazy. Do you think I was in there? Have you met me? We lived in the fucking suburbs, bro. Like, what are you talking about?
Didn't Julian move when he was like 4?
We moved here when he was 5, and he lived in the suburbs his entire life, except for the first year of his life, which he does not even remember.
That's that man's whole street cred.
Yeah, we lived on the north side of Chicago when he was born. That's where we were living. And when he was 1, we moved, and we never lived in the city limits again.
All the thugs listening like, we knew it. He lied to us.
And the only time he really went to the south side was to go to my grandma's house or White Sox games. That's pretty much it. And my grandma lives like a block away from the White Sox in the hood. So that's why I told him. My dad was just like, he'll take him around some places and show him what it's like. But he don't stay out too late, so I ain't worried that nothing's gonna happen. But he's gonna be salty because my father is an early riser. Like, I got to turn my phone off on my birthday because I know he's gonna call me at 6 in the morning. Nah, bro. Like, I ain't with that shit, bro. Like, I'm not going.
You still sleep? It's way late, exactly. 6 in the morning.
Yeah, I'll call my father at 7 and he'll be like, what is it, son? I'm about to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, stuff like that.
No, goddamn.
How
does your son feel about switching schools?
Oh, he doesn't like it, but I don't give a fuck.
Zero choice.
I'm just like, I purposely was hands off for your first semester of school to show you that you don't do shit right when we're not on you. Then we had to talk mid-year about how you needed to do better, and you went and did worse in literally every single class, even gym. So I don't know what there is to talk about.
Fair.
So now he's going to a small black Christian school where there's only 10 people in his grade.
Oh, that's gonna suck.
So he's gonna have all the eyes on him.
Well, that's the thing. When my kid was young, and Chaufie, you might be able to speak to this. We had put him in a little Catholic school down the road from us, and we went to his doctor at some point, and she's like, "Oh, is he in school?" Blah blah blah. We're like, "Yeah, he go to this little Catholic school." She goes, "Why did you put him in that school?" We go, "She thought it'd be a good school." She goes, "Look, unless he got some kind of behavioral issue, they ain't never gonna be able to teach my man the right way." He goes, "That's you put people in those schools when they ain't acting right, but if he needs like educational, situation, you know what I'm saying, well, help or assistance, then that's when public schools work better because they have systems in place for that kind of assistance, At least that's how it was explained to me by my kid's pediatrician.
Do you want to? I was kind of on his side. Like, why do we want to send him to that school? Is that really something we want to do? Blah 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 blah. Right?
Yeah.
During finals week, it's raining hard as hell. Right? This is like I had just stopped working, so I'm like, hey, I can take you to school. I got you. It's raining hard as hell. Mind you, we live across the street from the school. Chaufie saw it, right? You see how close I live to the high school.
If there wasn't a house in front of Sean's house, you would see the school.
Shit, I just hit for the cycle. That's what's up. But I drop him off, right? I get back home, I sit on the couch, and I get a call from the assistant principal, like, yeah, Julian just got in trouble. You got to come pick him up. I'm like, he's only been there for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
like, what the fuck? And I'm just like, Jesus Christ.
I'm going to say at this point in the podcast, this is where my wife is going to get very frustrated because we have had these similar moments. So she'll be like, fuck, I feel you.
and I was just like, I'm like, bro, you've been there for 5 minutes. And the thing that pissed me off was like, he got into it with the principal. And it's just one of those things where it's like, it wasn't a huge thing. It was just a little asshole thing. But I'm like, but the principal for several years before he was the principal at the school you went to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you played basketball with his son. So like, why would you
just don't do this?
Yeah. So I was just like, at that point, I was like, yeah, you got to go. Because I'm tired.
Especially,
I shouldn't look at my phone and I'm like, here they go with some more shit.
Yeah. No, because whenever we get, it's now like triggering. Whenever there's a phone call from the school, even if it's one of those that's like, auto messenger, like tomorrow's fucking wear Hawaiian shirt day.
Yeah,
when you see the message come in, it's like, motherfuck, like my job is not close to where we live. So it's like, it's automatically, depending on the day, going to be at least 30 to 45 minutes to get home. So it's like, fuck, or if my wife gets it, which she's a lot closer, but she's got work to do too. So it's not, we're always just like, cool, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So it's like,
exactly.
Any moment in the day, or especially when we think like, oh, today's a great day. And then the assistant principal, who we now have her personal cell phone number, will be like, hey, I know it's 5 o'clock. I didn't get a chance to call you earlier. And it's like, God damn it.
So I shouldn't, I did kind of laugh at this, even though I was pissed off. But
I've had those
in trouble. And they were just like, he's going to have in-school suspension for the whole week. And I was like, God damn, what the fuck did he do? And it was like, when they heard him talking, and he called the assistant principal a fat-ass nigga. I was like, Jesus.
Hey.
Was he wrong? Like,
yo.
I've actually never seen this dude in person.
That is your son. That's all I'm going to say.
But yeah, I was just like, bro, I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
That's okay. So to parallel that again, because honestly, like, I know we've talked about this before, but basically, we are just the East Coast, West Coast version of the same family.
When they hung out, they really did click. And I was like, this is terrible.
Yeah. No, this is parallels, big time. Yeah. So my son it was like the last days of school. And this is going to be very similar to Shaun's story. My son got kicked out of class. His math class had a really bad relationship with this math teacher. And so he finished his final, and the teacher approached him and was like, hey, you went too fast. Go back and do it again. And he's like, I guess he checked it. He's like, I'm done. And the guy was like, I told you to do it again. He's like, I'm not going to do it. And then pressed him again. And he's like, I'm not going to do it. And then finally, my son got tired of his shit and then called him a fat bitch. And then that's when he got sent out of class.
it's so like, ridiculous that it's funny because you're just like, you did what?
Yeah.
Like, this and is so I told Gavin, like, where do y'all get this shit from?
Yeah. And so it's like, I mean, side note, I mean, with being a fat bitch. So it's like, there's that. But on the flip side, it's like,
and you wonder where they got it from.
No, but I mean, unfortunately, my son will eventually listen to this. But I did tell my
I tell my son all the time. That's hilarious, by the way. I get the reference. I tell him all the time, like, if your teacher's a stripper, like, when have you known me not to cuss somebody out?
Yeah.
So let me handle that.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I got your back.
And that's the truth.
You can't do that.
Yeah. It's like, don't be an ass, and I can cover for you. I can help you out. Yeah. But you make it worse by acting like an ass. But I told him too, I was like, here's the thing. No matter what, you need to learn how to navigate these conversations. Like, I'm not telling you you have to have respect for this man or you have to like bow down to everything he says. But there's a way to manage that conversation and be like, I hear what you're telling me. I've checked it. I feel good with it. I don't want to check it anymore. I'll take whatever grade I got. Done. You know?
Right. Exactly.
And that's really what it comes down to. But because my son loves to fucking argue, he's just like, oh shit, you want to argue? Let's go. Let's do this. And this teacher really wanted to prove points with my son. Like, he's made some comments where I've had to talk to administration to be like, this dude's fucking out of line. Like, you need to check your staff. And then it's gotten to the point where then they were like, you know what? Yeah, we got a problem, you know?
Well, look, this difference, like I've told my son, because he's like, my teacher don't like me. I'm like, well, nigga, I don't like you either, so I understand.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get it. It's perfectly understandable.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta do better.
The problem is genuinely you. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how else to tell you this, but it's not everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
every time I look at him, I just think about that scene in Fences. Like, nigga, where does it say I got to like you? I'm like, damn, Denzel was on point. He goes, that shit is profound.
We got a very young like speech teacher on campus. Like, she just got married last year, and I was talking to one of our special ed teachers. She's roughly like my age, and so we were talking about like being parents, and because she's like, yeah, my husband really wants to have kids soon, but I kind of tell him want to wait.
Don't do it.
The teacher immediately said that. She's like, just don't do it. And she's like, why? She's like, do you not want gray hair? Would you like to keep the majority of your money? Like, do you want to go out and do vacations and like have weekends? Like, don't do it. And then I told her, I said,
before I had kids, I had a full head of hair and nice waves. It didn't take many years for that shit to go away.
Like my waves was spinning.
Before I had kids, people thought I was attractive.
Right.
Had kids, that shit all ended. Get your old ass out of here.
Hey, man.
But I told her, I said,
kept the do-rag going, goddammit. You hear me?
I told the teacher though, I said, I go, here's the thing. I go, this is a really like conflicting feeling, but every minute that you're with your kids, you love them intensely, and equally you want to murder them intensely at the same time. Both feelings all the time. And she's like, that doesn't sound healthy. I go, no, it's not. It's not healthy. I go, but that's the thing is, I go, it's a long game. It's an investment that hopefully once they get out of your house, you'll be like, yeah, you guys got to go. But at the same time, hopefully you can like fit into society.
You think my son's going to see my father for a week just because? Nope. I told my father, I said, he needs to come sign with you before I choke his ass out.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's about to be up in here like baby boy. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I call your mama. What she gonna
do? Well, now I know I can't send my son over to see his grandparents because I don't know what my fucking son was doing. But he was like, oh, we found some sparklers in the garage. He's like, can we light this up? And I was like, oh, fucking why not, So we were lighting up the sparklers, and we always keep some like lighters in the drawer. And he's like, oh, I got the lighters. I was like, all right, great. He starts fucking lighting them. I was like, where'd you learn to do a lighter? And he was like, oh, Grandpa showed me. I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, Grandpa showed me how to do lighters. He showed me how to use a knife and not like a little knife. And then they went out recently, and this was some real Mexican shit too. They went to like barbecue on the beach. Like, and so there's a portion of California that's like kind of like a upper part of like Southern California near Santa Barbara and Ventura, where the water and the ocean isn't like a sandy beach like you would imagine. It's just rocks. And so a lot of people park their RVs right there. It's actually really, really nice. So they pull up, and then my dad showed him how to like set up bricks and then just put the fucking, the grill grate on top of the bricks. So this was
I seen that shit on Food Network.
Under, and I was like, damn, you got taught a fucking real Mexican grill. Like it's not a Weber. It's not one of those fucking eggs. Like it's just like bricks. And my dad had all this shit on deck. So
I thought you were going to
some stuff he did
tell
learn,
me
but on the
took him
flip
to
side,
get a full Dickie outfit.
some Ben Davis. I don't know, man.
Wow,
these fucking boys, there's something else.
I would do that in my yard if I wouldn't just rip a hole in a huge portion of grass. Like if I have something like that, I would definitely do a pit or something like that. That'd be kind of cool. But I just the thing that I don't get, and this is like my wife tells me, like you just can't compare our son to you. Like you said, y'all had different upbringings, which is definitely true. Mm-hmm. But I'm just like, I just don't understand what they think is going to happen in the future if they keep this up. Like
they don't.
How you think that? Like, so how you think you're gonna ever keep a job or a relationship? Like, you think a woman gonna deal with this shit? Are you crazy? Like, well, you ain't even got no money. You gotta have some money first before they deal with your
bullshit. Did your kids go through like a while, or like your son just graduated? Did he go through a phase where you were like, "Oh, this boy ain't gonna make it"?
You have to, I don't mean to, bring the crowd down. You have to understand, we lost their mother. And anything that could have been like, oh, that would have been their wild time was instead a sad and horrible time. And so I never had to go through this awful time. My youngest,
you had to go through an awful time in a different way.
Yeah, is going through their things, what I'm saying, right now. But that's just because, they are, they're in the midst of their transitioning and so forth and so on. They're going through a bunch of other stuff. And so it's like, it's my life is different because my life is different. You feel me? So I don't have to. I didn't get the bad.
That also kind of goes back to like you want the best for your kids, right?
Yeah.
But it's like time and time again, it seems like when you give them all that they can have, the vast majority of them are going to take it for granted, and there's really nothing you can do about it until. But that's part of the reason I want him to go with my father. So it's like you got to go see that like your life isn't the average in America. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just isn't like this. Like, most people don't grow up in a 2-parent home in a house in the suburbs with a bunch of friends that live in 2-parent homes in the houses and play all these extracurricular activities and do all these things. Like, that's not the norm, bro. And but it's not really also something that we want to kind of, we kind of want to bring you down with to be like, hey, you need to appreciate this and blah, 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 blah. Because we can't tell you to. It's just something that you have to have.
Yeah. Because I think Shaun said something a while back. I think it was like this past Christmas time, which it like really rang true and kind of fucked me up, where he was like, asked his kids, like, what do you want for Christmas? And they didn't have wants. And it was the same thing I was going through in my house, where it was just like, now they just basically want something because there's this sort of, Christmas, quote unquote, like obligation to want something.
Yeah.
Where it was like, they already got AirPods, they already got phones, they already got Xboxes and PlayStations. Like, these kids are fucking, his kids, like my kids, they're geared up. So then it's like, what do you want? And it's just like, now I'm just spending money to be like frivolous. Like, there was no like purpose behind it. And so when he had said that to me, I was just like, damn, you're fucking right. Because when I asked the kids, like, what do you guys want? They were like, I don't know. I guess take us on a trip. What do you mean, I guess take us on a trip? Fucker, I never went on one trip with my family. Like, what are you talking about? Like, the only trips I went to was grandma's. Like, was it? We weren't flying to fucking Atlanta for Thanksgiving. We weren't like doing shit. It was just like, nah.
That's a wild statement. I guess take us on a trip. Like, that's the bare minimum. Well, I guess you can take us on a trip.
I was like, you privileged motherfuckers. But it's also, I know for me, it's a lot of like overcompensating too, because like I know, like I tell my kids, and it's not one of those things like I fucking walk, 10 miles uphill, but they'll ask me questions like, when you live with grandma and grandpa, when you were in school, like, did you have this? Did you have that? And I was like, no, when I was like in high school, I legit had like 2 pairs of black pants and just had to rotate them hoes. And like a pair of shorts. And like that was it.
Yeah.
And they were like, wait, what do you mean? And they're like, well, how many shoes? And I was like, the pair for the year. Like, what do you mean? Like, what are you fucking talking about? Whereas they're like, these are my Wednesday shoes. These are my Thursday shoes. You know what I mean? Like,
just not to cut you off, but like one time we had to give one of the girls on the softball team a ride home. And so like my daughter's talking to her in the car about like her favorite like thing to do on her phone and her laptop and all. So she's like, well, I don't have a laptop. And she's like, well, I don't have a phone. And she's just like, well, no, she's like, I don't have a phone. We got a laptop and I share it with my siblings. It's like, it is 5 of them, I think. And she's just like, she was just like in complete disbelief. Like she just had no idea.
Your daughter's like, I have one. We all each have one for each of us. Like,
I mean, like she was like, when my wife dropped her off, she's just like, is there something we can do to help them? Like, she's like, I just can't believe that
she's poor.
She don't have these things of her own. Yeah.
And it's like, she's not poor. She's normal.
Yeah. It's just like 5 kids is a lot. Like if we had 5, you wouldn't have all that shit either.
Yeah. No, very true.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just kind of like, you gotta realize when you're lucky.
And that's where one of the benefits of working at a school, or that's when I do have the benefit of working in a school, and especially with a community that does not have a lot, is I don't donate the kids' clothes to like a thrift store or anything. I actually take it to work, because then we keep like storage bins in the health office. And let me tell you, they go through the clothes, because let's say a kid pees his pants. Here's a pair of pants.
Yes, that's true.
Or we find a kid who like, shit you not. And this was like a really, really sad one. It was a family going through some really, really tough stuff. Separated family, parents don't get along. There's a lot of issues going on. This first grader was wearing like adult size sneakers. Damn. And then the sneakers just had like maybe a 3-inch like shoelace. So it just went across one portion of like one eyelid to one eyelid, and then sort of knotted so that they would stay on. And I was like, you need to go to the office. And it was like, and he was like, why? I was like, no, you're not in trouble. I'm pretty sure there's a pair of shoes ready for you up there. Now, my kids, like, oh, these shoes are old, they're worn out. This kid was like, these are like brand new Vans. Like, I love these Vans so much. And so it's like, whenever I get the opportunity to like, here, man, we got jackets, we got hoodies, we got sweaters, we got socks, like even the underwear too, like, be like, kids outgrow them. And so then they're just like, boom, here, go. And honestly, anytime I take stuff to the school, that shit is gone, like within 4 weeks.
And I will also say, that is also how you can tell that my kids go to a privileged school, because they post fucking pictures of the lost and found at the end of every year, and it's so much stuff. And I'm like, none of y'all care to go get that shit?
Yeah.
Or even look for it? Like, it just, whatever, I lost it, it's fine. And that's what pisses me off about my son too, because he's just like, well, I mean, I lost it, but I mean, you could just give me another one. And I'm just like, okay, I just want to be very clear about something. I have money. You have nothing. You have literally nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I buy you these things because I want to. I'm like, all I have to do is make sure you have clothes and you eat at least once a day. Other than everything else is optional. So like, don't be acting like, oh, because this thing is, well, I should have a cell phone because my friends do. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about those people. Like, that's not how this works. Like, you're not entitled to any of this shit. I'm like, you want to be a white boy so bad. I just don't even understand this. I'm like, I'm sorry. So I'm like, son, you don't have white privilege. You got to stop thinking like this. It does not work that way for you, young man. I'm like,
and that's something I've always told my kids too. Not the same white privilege thing, but I'll probably start using that. Is the like I tell my kids consistently, because once they go to, but my friends, I'm like, oh, I don't give a fuck about your friends. And you know good and goddamn well, I don't like your friends. Like, I think your friends are really annoying. Now, so don't use that on me. I was like, you want to fail a fucking argument? Use that.
Yeah, I would not advise anyone to say what I say, because I'm just like, fuck you and your stupid ass friends. And you can tell them I said that. And I'm serious, because I'm just like, so you want to tell me, like, I told him, like, so you're 15, which means by definition, you're an idiot. So anything that you tell me, I'm going to think is completely ridiculous. And anything, it's so like trying to use another 15-year-old's opinion to sway me is even more fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
So like, I don't care. I do not care. I'm like, you want to give me a bunch of privilege? He's like, my friends think that the way you punish me is too much. I'm like, I don't give a fuck what they said.
Yeah.
Fucking kids.
Exactly. That's really what it comes down to. But also, Shaun, I mean, you didn't spend any time on O Block. You don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
didn't see you on O Block.
This is also true. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, not being on O Block, I could have done that. If I was that mean, I would do some shit like that. But I'm like, he would shit his pants if he had to like go to the hood for real.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I used to, when I was his age, I'm like, I was riding the bus through the hood, where it's like when you're on the bus and look straight, don't look at nobody, don't say shit to nobody, and get off when you're supposed to get off, and just do what you got to do. I'm like, you would not survive.
Well, I kind of had that same sort of thought recently, because my son and I, well, I'll kind of get into what we're getting into. So big news, last episode, number one. I
don't know. I don't know last episode, so you got to tell me. You know, I don't listen to this shit.
So people had messaged me, and they were saying they didn't like Sad Chaufie. People didn't like that very much. Well,
yeah, he pressed the fuck out all of us.
Well, because
we're not getting into that. No. Let's not do that. We're not going to have this man on here crying again. Fuck that. No, don't ask no questions.
I was sad, man.
Yes,
yeah, that's R.I.P. Giddy. That's my girl.
Yeah, we did talk about that. We talked about that.
But so
we did talk about that.
We got a new puppy. We have a pug. Her name is Sunday Girl, and she's great.
That's awesome.
And it was one of those things too, where it was like, do we get her? Do we not get her? Back and forth. Like, what do we do? Is it too soon? Type of thing. And she's a rescue. We got her from downtown LA, so she's a real one. She ain't playing around. She's no privileged dog. She's seen things. She's more street than my kids. She's like, what are you fucking talking about?
I like it.
The streets pug. Y'all know exactly.
It. She came with a bandana. She was like, what's that you from? She's over here calling my kids cuh. But so yeah, my wife was like, can you get home? I was like, fuck yeah. Because at that point I had already been out of like the school year ends, I still go to work for like another week. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I could leave. So I left, and then we pulled the kids out of school on their own for like about an hour early. Because then we're like, we'll get down, we'll get the dog. And so we went and picked her up, and it was like immediate. We were like, yeah, we're gonna get this dog. Like we're set. So she's been great. She's actually a really, really good pug. She's doing really good on like her training. She actually sleeps through the night. So even though, and she's a puppy, like we estimate she's probably about like, within the 8 to 10 week realm when we got her. So she was super, super little, but it was perfect. Immediately we get the dog, and like everyone fell in love with her. So we were like, great, nice. But to kind of tie it back into Shaun's story, like a week or two ago, my son and I went downtown because we took her back to the rescue so she can get her next round of vaccinations. And we go down there, and I see the Metro Rail going, and I asked my son, I was like, because I was having the same thoughts Shaun had, where I was like, hey man, would you want to like, why don't we go take the Metro Rail from Long Beach to like Hollywood? We go to Amoeba, kind of shop for some records, music, shit like that. And then he was like, no. I was like, why? But then it kind of clicked in my head where I was like, you wouldn't know how to navigate. Like, because the actual, the route from Long Beach to Hollywood is, you see all of what like America considers to be like, the gang infested. You know what I mean? Like you're going through like the South Central part to get through. You're going through Skid Row to get through. Like you're getting through all this stuff to just connect the dots, which kind of makes me really want to take him on the Metro Rail just to be like, if you don't fuck with people, you'll be all right. Just number one, don't be trying to make eye contact. Don't try to engage in conversation. Like there's an etiquette to it. There really, really is. And also a lot of it is your fucking energy too. Yeah. Like if you go in there being like sketchy, like you're gonna get rolled. So just like kick it, chill, listen to your music, fucking, you know, you do gotta maybe puff your chest a little for the most part. Like, no, you know, like the wildest shit I saw on the Metro Rail was 2 guys in wheelchairs. You remember Donkey Kong Jr.? Like where Donkey Kong Jr. grabs the 2 vines and climbs up?
Yes.
They both grabbed the rails and climbed up and then started to fight each other. By like
Donkey Kong Jr.
Because their legs were flopping around. So they were just like flopping their legs at each other. And I was like, I'm really seeing 2 like paraplegics fight each other right now. Like, this is fucking crazy.
Did anybody spray raid on them like Donkey Kong Jr.? Did they fall down on the floor?
The little chomp thing came, got him. No, and then we got to the next stop, and one of them like flipped down to his chair and rolled out, and then the other one fucking like hopped on his chair, and they started chasing each other down.
Did somebody play like, Ludacris Roll Out when that happened? I feel like a missed opportunity.
No, just move, bitch. I've seen some of the wildest stuff. This guy was picking up on a girl, and he was like, he was like, "Hey, is this your number for real?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's my number." And he's like, "Listen, bitch, if this ain't your number, I'm gonna go to your house and I'll punch your face in." And she was like, "I swear to you, it's my number. Come pick me up around 7." Yeah, and which I was just like, "What?" And he was like, "I will find you." And she's like, "It is. Come pick me up." And I was like, but also the way that she was communicating with him too. It was like, 1, yeah, definitely like very sad. But 2, I was like, what have you experienced, woman? That you were like, she was unfazed by what he was saying. She was like, yeah, we're going to Applebee's for sure. Like,
that is wild.
And but when he told her, listen, bitch, is this your number? She was like, yeah. Like, not, who you call him bitch? She was like, I was like, okay, yeah, this is different out here.
The biggest privilege that I can talk about with public transportation is I never slept on public transportation until I started living in the suburbs. I'm just saying, when I was on the south side on them buses before, I was awake. Do you hear me?
Yeah.
I was, once I started going to the suburbs, I'll be on that motherfucker knocked out.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody about to do nothing on here.
Yeah.
But yeah, these kids, I was just having a conversation with my sister-in-law about like, because she was just talking about how like where her and Tiffany grew up, how like, they were deep in the suburbs and they didn't really get to go these places and do all this other stuff, and how like me and her husband, like we grew up on the south side, and it's like, yeah, y'all were able to like roam the city and be on public transportation. So like from our view, it's just like, it just doesn't make any sense that y'all willing to basically just put y'all kids in the wild. I'm like, hey, I mean, you can't just shelter them and then when they go to college be like, all right, you're on your own. Like that's a gigantic transition. Like it's got to be little by little. Like you can't just flip the switch one day and they know how to take care of themselves. It just doesn't. It just don't work that way.
Well, and that's why I was like saying, like I wanted to kind of maybe even get my son out there, is just to know how to navigate life. Like, I mean, this kind of takes me into another area, and I think T, you might be able to chime in on this some more too, because of having an older child. Like, how to be like self-sufficient, like I remember like as much as my parents were like maybe not the best at what they did, like there was stuff that they taught me that were like true life lessons. Like my mom being like, here's $40, here's the phone bill, where GTE is, so you need to go over there, you need to pay the bill, they will give you change back. And so it was like, there was never the option of I wasn't going to do it.
Yeah.
I was going to do it. And sometimes I was paying like 4 bills in a day. You know what I mean? Like it was just like.
Yeah. before T chimes in, I want to say I got like the most stereotypical like black equivalent, where it's just like my mom sent me to the corner store to get her some Newports.
Oh, yes. No,
like,
straight
you know where
up.
the store is. You know where the store is. You know how much they cost. Bring me my change. They know who you are. They know you're my son, so they give them to you. And that's the crazy shit back in the day. It was just like, hey, my mom sent me up here to get her Newports. Oh, Eugenia's son? All right, cool. Here you go. You can never do that these days.
No.
Like,
and same thing too. No, my dad would pull the same. The first time the corner liquor store was like, this is what they said. Your dad just needs to give us a note. And I was like,
yes, I did take a note before.
His
my mom
note,
had a tab.
like his writing
she had
is
a
as bad as
tab at
mine.
the corner store, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, tabs for real. But so once I gave the note, then they'd be like, yeah, my dad wants his pack of Marlboro Reds. And they were like, okay, cool. Boom. And then we got to the point where they did have a tab. And then it'd be like, okay, you know, at the end of the week, your dad owes us $25. I'd be like, okay, cool. No big deal. So that shit was wild. But it's more of like, one, everything's paid online. So it is different.
That's
but true. It's still the fact of like, but I now know how to pay bills. And because they sent me outside, I also know how to talk to people. You know, like I had to talk to the teller. I had to ask, where do I go to pay this? Which line do I stand in? You know, like having to go deposit a check for my mom at the bank and being like, oh no, you don't go to the desks, you go in the line. Like it was just shit like that where it's like, nah, I had to fucking learn how to do that. So now if I'm ever lost in a store or like I need to find something, I got no problem. That's their fucking job. They work there. So you go like, hey, where do I find the fucking, you know, the weather stripping? Oh, aisle 5. Cool. Whereas like, I know a lot of people will be like, I will wander the store all day long. And I'm like, then you wasted 2 hours, idiot.
You know, I do want to go. Yeah, I do want to get T's opinion, like you said, with an older kid, because my son is kind of like that too, where it's like, I'll just be like, hey, so like you got a haircut, just go in, I'll be in the car, I'll be back. Well, I don't want to go like, motherfucker, I made you an appointment. Just go in there and make eye contact with him. He sees that you're there. And then it gets to like, I went in one time, he's like, I'm like, why are you still waiting? He's like, oh, I don't think he saw me. Well, why the fuck didn't you say anything? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, like you just sitting here. Yeah. Like you got to be able to handle shit. Like I can't always handle things for you, nor do I want to. You know, so there's
because you got to figure it out at some point. Like you're gonna want at some point you're gonna want to live on your own. You're gonna.
See, I don't think I know how old are your kids?
No, my oldest 18 and my youngest is about to be 15.
Okay, yeah, because my wife, she's on that thing where it's like, well, he'll figure it out one day. And I'm like, yeah, after community college. Like she said, they just say like, you know, wives or not wives, but mothers is just like, they'll just flip the switch and they'll get better. And I'm like, look, I love my son and I think he'll figure it out too. But there's also a possibility that he ain't gonna be shit. Like it is. Like it doesn't matter because you know how women are, like mothers feel like it's their fault. But I'm like, you raise your kids, they know right from wrong, but they still have to make their own decisions. Right? Like you can't force somebody they get a certain age, you can't force them to do the right thing, even when they know that they're fucking up.
Yeah.
You know, so now, I don't know. But go ahead.
How did you prep your son, T, or how have you been?
So since my child turned, old enough to drive and then eventually got his license, and I'm like, okay, you can get out there and, get out there in the world and do what you got to do. We always give him little responsibilities that come with that. Okay, you going somewhere? All right, I need you to go, like today, Vanessa was like, hey, I need you to go drop this Amazon return off. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that there, which means he has to go into the UPS store, talk to somebody to say, I'm making a return, blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. Just those little things. He's very good at it. My kid now has twice now bought 2 different cars, and in both situations, talked the dude down by hundreds of dollars.
Wow.
Yeah. First time was me saying, okay, offer him this much. And he did, and dude accepted it. But this car he just got with his graduation money, that was all him. And he
got the Volvo no more?
No, the Volvo just was not gonna make it. It was just the last person who owned a Volvo really ran into the ground, and my son finished it off.
All right.
He attempted to keep it running, but he just could not. Like also a lot of parts and stuff were just. It was during the time when like nothing was available. But he just got a car last week, maybe week before. I think just last week. Now I think about it, and talk dude down by about $600. So I was like,
oh wow,
okay. Only because I can't do that.
Right, yeah, exactly.
I don't feel like I got that in me, but I'm like, okay, check you out, little man. So he got
$600 is significant.
Significant. Yeah. That's and so that's the thing. He used the money he saved to buy the car needs. He found out it needed brakes, and he was like, I'm probably gonna put new shocks on it. And so he used the money, bought some shocks, bought some brakes. So
still smart, making the right move.
So
now with my youngest, they're very much like me, bit of an introvert, kind of don't want to have to talk to people. But I force the issue as hard as I can with them and be like, look, you gotta holler at them and it's okay. You know what I'm saying? You gotta ask them, so forth. And they are getting there. I like I said, I myself am a bit of an introvert, and so I understand it. You know what I'm saying? And so that will come in due course, but also it's going to come with a little bit of a push from their father. I am now having to raise a child. You know what I'm saying? That particular child, I'm having to all right, this is what dudes do. This is the dude way of doing things. Because like I said, they're in the midst of transition, and that has been interesting and fun. And what comes up also means you can't do that, or not that you can't. It's like that's because it's just try it this way instead.
Yeah.
And so it's a double learning lesson going on right now from your mans, but I like it too. You know what I'm saying? I dig being here for my kids, man, as best as I can be, as much as I can be. And
now with your boy though, was he was it always a part of him? Was he good at negotiating from the get-go or being outgoing on that?
Not that I know of, but I think he as knucklehead as his boys is, he got some good dudes around him, and they got some decent parents too. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. In most situations, his one boy has wrecked 5 cars, and his mama just paid for him every time. But if she got the dough to pay for it, what am I to say?
Is that his one homeboy who's always doing wild shit?
Yeah.
But it's wildly neglected.
Well, see, you see,
no, that dude don't kick it with us no more. Yeah.
See, that's kind of what I tell my son. It's just regardless if I can afford to do something or not, I'm not going to keep supporting your bad decisions.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just so this motherfucker, I bought him a $200 glove last year for baseball. He loses it during the season. And then he's just like, why can't you just give me another one? I'm like, because that glove costs $200. And the point of paying $200 was because your fucking grandfather wouldn't leave me alone about it. And he said you could keep that glove until you stop playing, hopefully at the end of college. So that glove was supposed to last you 8 to 10 years. And
that was going to be the
2
glove.
months. That was going to be the glove. And then he had a second glove that I bought him for his birthday. I'm like, in case you play outfield, you got to have 2 different size gloves. And this is good for pitchers so you can, block your pitches. Lost that glove. That's $100. I literally just took that out of his birthday money. I was like, how much money you get for your birthday? Cool, I'm taking my $100 back, and I'm going about my business. My sister bought him a bat, lost that. And I'm just like, bro, you have to take care of your stuff. It doesn't matter if I can afford to buy it again. It's not a good lesson for you, or just even a way to live, to just be like, yeah, when I lose stuff, I'm going to just keep buying it, because you're not going to be of unlimited means.
Yeah.
It's just this motherfucker turned 16 in a month and a half, 2 months, something like that. And he just refuses to even go, to get his permit. He won't do what it takes to get his permit. I'm like, do you think I'm going to do that? All right, I can drive. I don't give a shit about that. And I'm like, we have a car for you that's literally just sitting outside waiting for you to drive it. But you don't even want to do what it takes to get your permit. You know what I'm saying? It's just I can't force you to want to do right. Because first off, I don't want to have to pay insurance fee on this car anyway, because that shit's high. Insurance on 16-year-olds is not cheap.
Yeah, no.
Try one who has crashed a car before.
Yeah,
much worse.
He immediately hits the statistic box where they're like, and up.
Yeah. I'm like, and you ain't even gonna get the good grade discount? Come on, bro.
Yeah. Nah, because that's the big stuff.
We're not of unlimited. You just gotta try. Everybody loses stuff.
Yeah.
Shit, I lost a pair of my running shoes, and I have absolutely no idea what happened to them. and them shits cost $135. You think I was happy I had to buy another pair?
No.
You know, but it's just like, hey, I get it. People lose stuff, but you lose stuff so often because you're careless, not just because you happen to have a bad day.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, yeah, I mean, you'll learn eventually when it's your money, but I'm not about to just keep dealing with that.
Now, how about you, Delvin? How are your kids coming along with, like, I guess, the conversation of like responsibility or just being ready for adulthood?
They're not ready. not even close.
He didn't even try. He was like,
not even close. Like my son is so irresponsible, and he's a habitual line stepper. Like he'll
aren't they all? Aren't they all?
He'll fuck up shit that ain't even his. That's mine. And be like, and then ask questions about, I messed it up. Fuck you mean you messed up? It's not yours. You can't break shit that doesn't belong to you. They'll be like, oh well. That's not how that works. You know,
your son is really out here like fuck your couch.
Yeah, it's so wild. Like I'll give a perfect example. This because he's on punishment as we speak right now because this is what happened. As you know, he does homeschooling now because he acts a fool. Things happen. No, I watch him. So I tell him at the beginning of the month, I'm like, yo, I can't keep watching you and going behind you and checking your work every day. I have to work too as well. You got to be responsible enough to start doing your schoolwork without me checking. He said, okay, cool. I'm like, look, because you know how homeschool work with him is, basically he works until he's finished. So he doesn't get a summer vacation until he finishes all his homeschool shit. Last year, he didn't have a summer vacation because he procrastinated on the computer all day instead of doing homeschool shit. And till summer was fucking over. I'm like, no, well, I guess summer's over. You just missed that shit because you spent fucking around. So it's looking like it's going to be the same thing this year.
Yeah.
So I say, you know what, I'm going to chill. I'm not going to say anything. So last week I said, let me check and see where he's at in his homework, his schoolwork and stuff.
Which is also one of those dreadful things where you're like, what? I already know what this is. Like,
exactly.
You're prepared for disappointment, right? You're like, oh.
Exactly. So I check one class. I'm like, oh, he's doing pretty decent. He's doing his work. I'm cool. That's cool. I check another class. Oh, he's slipping a little bit, but he's doing his work. I check the third class. He hasn't done an assignment the whole month.
Damn.
So I'm like, I walk up to him and say, Delvin, because his name's Delvin Jr., of course. And this is the thing. I've told him this trick before. I tell him this trick every time. I say, dude, if I'm asking you about something, it's because I know the answer. And I want you to tell me the truth. Say, Delvin, is there anything you need me to tell me? And have you been focused on your schoolwork? Yeah, I got it under control. I say, Delvin, I'm going to ask you again. Have you been focusing on your schoolwork? Oh, yeah, I got it under control. I say, Delvin, I just checked your schoolwork. You haven't done an assignment in a month in this class, English. Like, oh, I know. So what you mean you know? Yeah, I'm going to start today. Like, Delvin, how many assignments are you supposed to do in English a week? Because they give you like a certain amount you're supposed to do a week. 3. How many have you done? None.
And you said a month, so now it's 3 times 4. He's got 12 assignments.
I'm looking at him like, are you not comprehending what I'm saying? And oh, no, but I got it.
That's the most frustrating part, too, is the casualness. They're just like, no, I'm good. And it's like, no, it's been 4 weeks that you haven't turned anything in. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, and then he's like, but I'm starting today. Like, that's not the point. You were supposed to start 4 fucking weeks ago.
Yeah, let me just chime in real quick. And that reminds me, like, when I get to talk to my son, and I talk to my dad, and I tell him what's happening. He called my son, and he basically said something to him that was similar. And then after I talked to my dad afterwards, he was just like, you know what? I'm sorry, son. I see what you're going through. He was like, I wasn't upset when we got on the call, but he said something so stupid. He said before I knew it, I almost was like, motherfucker. He was like, I had to catch myself. I was like, I'll be trying to tell you, it's just me.
You sat there with your dad, you're like, you see? You think I'm fucking tripping?
Yes, exactly. So I'm sitting there like, and the only reason why he didn't get kicked out of the class is his teacher had COVID. So she hadn't been checking
the
assignment.
They would kick you out the class?
Yeah. If you don't,
because the teacher's not there to grade the assignments.
If you don't do your if you don't do your required amount of assignments for those terms, like the 3 assignments a week, they will kick you out, and you have to start all the fuck way back over.
Yeah,
with the course, like college almost. So I'm like, yo, you could have been kicked out of this class, and you're not paying attention. Oh no, but I'm starting late. Like,
yeah, because it's considered like you're abandoning the class. So then they're like, you're out because you haven't shown. Like that's your attendance is. Even if let's say you fail the assignment, it's still that's part of like tried, right? It's your participation. So then they're like, oh, you've been here. At least you were trying. Yeah, that shit is crazy. And then like the sort of contrast too is that like my daughter, I think she'll be fine. Like honestly,
it's a complete opposite. Same.
Yeah, because she does have like she goal sets, and she does have a lot better like understanding and commitment. The only hard part for her is this fucking kid's head is in the clouds all the time, where it's just like, I tell her, I was like, cause she's like the klutzy one. Like if there's a thing to spill, she'll spill it. If there's a thing to drop, she will drop it. And so it's like, even when I see like, I have to do now, it's just like a natural thing. Like when she sits at the dinner table, I'll like immediately move her cup. Oh, I sit next to her. So I'll like move it to her left side, because if it's on her right side, which for some reason it's always on her right side, she will eat and knock it down. And it's like, why is the cup on the fucking right? Put it on the left. Like, come on, but just, it will happen. But she does have that sort of long term, and also doesn't want to get behind, whereas like, my son, who is bright as fuck, is also like dumb as fuck, because it's like, come on, man, like you have the ability, you can do this, but
that's the most frustrating
choose
part.
Not to.
Yeah,
like
that's the most
hard.
Frustrating part. Yeah, like I told my son, it's like, if you were just dumb, I'd be able to deal with that, but you're not.
Yeah.
Like how was it? Because I told him, I'm like, you spent the whole semester pretty much damn near almost failing all of your classes, almost a whole year. And all of your teachers still recommended you for gifted classes the following year, which means that even they know that you have the potential, but you just ain't trying.
Yeah. Well, I think the funniest to me was when Shaun said that his son was failing beat making class. And I was like,
he failed the shit out of that class.
I was like, what? It's like, yeah, he hasn't turned in.
Because he's like, well,
he hasn't worked on
it. I don't feel like I'll do good. I'm like, that's the point, man. Nobody gives a. They're not asking you to win a Grammy. Just do something, and you'll get made.
Make beats. Like you got a class where you can make beats. What the fuck?
Exactly.
How do you fail a beat making class?
Because he didn't do anything.
Not doing it.
By not doing it.
That is highly impressive.
He did literally nothing. And it was that teacher, like even his emails, I was just like, wow, he don't fuck with you at all. Like he's trying to be as professional as possible. He basically was just like, fuck him and everything he stands for. In the most professional way,
he told you you're the shit.
Exactly. He just, that was one teacher like, well, he don't like me. I'm like, yeah, I can see why.
Yeah.
Especially because I think that was like his first. That was his first class of the day too. So he's going to school. I don't want to get up and I don't want to do all that. So I'm like,
if all I had to do was start my day making beats,
yes,
stop it.
Because he's like, well, I can't make up stuff at home because of the software. I'm like, so what the fuck are you doing in class? Like, what do you? I don't know. Like, and like I said, my wife always has to bring me down and be like, you can't.
But I bet this is a part of that conversation too. Okay, what software is it? Because I don't get it. Like, fine. Like
that's what I told him.
That's not part of the conversation. Like, oh, we don't got the software at home. Fine, I will get it. I'll have T find me a fucking BitTorrent. Don't worry about it. People still BitTorrent? I don't know.
Yeah, if not again, I gotta get some off BitTorrent.
I was like, once it came out of my mouth, I was like, fuck, I haven't heard about BitTorrent in like 20 years. Shit, is that a thing?
Yeah. Every now and again, I gotta slide to the depths of the internet and do a little hunting. Need a rob or something.
I mean, it's when Chaufie was just like, yeah, there's a record for me at the at the desk. I was like, what do you mean? Like, what type of a record of what? He's like, no, actual music record. I'm like, oh, Really? What the fuck?
Yeah, we still take it back.
Play that on?
We're still being analog out here.
I'm like, what are you gonna play that on exactly? But yeah.
Well,
so.
I still don't got a record player.
I don't know. Like the moral of the story is that like parenting is hard, and I think for some reason like men can separate like I know I taught you what to do, and you just aren't doing that shit, and it's not so internal as it is with women.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, hey. Because I'm like, wait, when I was a teenager, I was like, I knew I was doing a bunch of shit I wasn't supposed to do. But, you know, it's just like, I knew what I should have did, and I wasn't doing it. But, hey, the biggest difference between me and my son is, like, when I got caught, I just took that L. Mm-hmm. Like, these kids would try to negotiate their way out of anything. I'm like, no, you take your L, man up, and let's move on to the next thing.
Well, you see, and I think that, like, I could say this, at least the contrast in my house, though, is that, like, my wife she is steadily hot with him. Whereas I do know that I tend to go, like, I try to rationalize more with him, you know, which also, I can't say either way is right with this kid. Let me just put it that way. So it's like, I'm not criticizing my wife saying she's doing wrong. I'm just saying, like, both of us will tell you, we do not know the right way to approach this kid at all.
Hey man, I'm just going to put it out there. Your wife is Puerto Rican, man. They be mad.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. That's really what it comes down to. But I do want to add this part in, and then we'll kind of shift up a little. But my daughter's in summer school right now too. And at first she was kind of pissed because she was just like, I don't want to go to summer school. But it was like, one, we just wanted to get you out of the house. Like I said, just being on the iPad all day. Yeah, and she's got like 4 of like her really good friends with her, or 3 of them, so she should be cool, you know. And but I picked her up yesterday. Yesterday was her first day of class, and she goes, I wrote about you today. And I was like, oh, you did? And she's like, yeah, we had to write about who was our hero, so I wrote that you were my hero. And I was like, oh, that's really nice. Hold on.
There's more to this trap.
Yeah. What's the butt? I mean, you would think that because that's where my heart went too. But then I remembered who's raising these kids, and I was like, oh, hang on, wait a minute. I go, so why am I your hero? And she goes, well, you know, like if there's a spider, you'll kill it, and you know, so you like take care of me, make sure I'm safe. Like if we throw up, you'll kill it, you'll clean it up. Like if there's an accident, like you'll clean up the mess. Like if I spill, you'll clean it. Like if the dog pees, you'll clean it. I said, right. So I said, so if I'm your hero because I cleaned the fucking house. Like
you're her hero because you're Mexican Benson in this motherfucker.
Right. Seriously, I was just like, wait a minute. That's not a hero. You called me the help. You called me the fucking help, man. I was like, damn, this long-lived moment of like, damn, my daughter looks up to me was like, no, she's like, you're darker than me.
The housekeeper.
Oh, yeah, seriously, she really did call me the fucking help. I was like, you is kind, you is important.
She's like, you are Mexican, so obviously you clean good. That's what I heard.
Right, exactly.
Racial stereotypes, man.
She was like, you are genetically predisposed to housekeeping. I was like, come on. Like, stop it. But yeah, so I mean, I guess shout out to me for being her hero because I know how to clean a fucking house. Like
Mr. Clean.
Damn.
El Clino.
That's hilarious.
El Clino.
She couldn't even say how you paid for anything. Like shit.
No, zero. Just talk about me clean as shit. It's like damn.
That's hilarious.
and at that too because I make dinner. So
that's important.
Really,
making tacos is important.
Yeah.
You gotta make some tacos.
I was like, that is so fucked up, man. Like she really did me dirty like that. So
the racism is killing me inside.
Yeah, no kidding. I was just like, shit, this is like fucking crazy. But I don't know. Like these kids, dude, anyone thinking of having kids, like one, it's a beautiful thing to see your kids grow, to see them like become their own individual person. But it's also like, it's not for the weak. Like it is not for the weak. Like you gotta put work in, day out.
You know, I tell people like babies are cute, but they grow up and start talking and doing shit they don't have no business. So people always like, I got baby fever. I was like, well, that don't last very long.
No.
You know,
and
what
especially
I'm saying?
when they become teens and they start stinking. Woo!
Oh my God!
Level.
Like my son, literally, I don't know what happened. I guess like he stopped his growth spurt or whatever, so he's not like crazy, super musty like every day. But anytime he plays like online video games for more than 3 hours, he smells like he dropped 2010 at 6. I'm like, why do you smell so bad? You've been sitting in a chair, sitting still. I'm like, it's that intense that you in there sweating?
Yeah. And my son will not open a window. And he has the best room in the house. He will get the breeze. And I'm like, open a window. No, I don't want to do that. Why? I don't know. Just feels weird. I'm like, I'm in your room for 10 minutes. I'm going to fucking pass out because you're over here doing hot yoga while you're playing video games. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Stop.
The big room popping off. You know what I'm saying?
I'm like, hey, but you know what? He is very slim. So maybe he's on to something. You know?
Hey, man.
Maybe I can relax on that.
Like that's what me and my wife were saying. Like, middle school teachers deserve the highest pay because them kids fucking stink.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
Like the vast majority of them are so musty. And one time my wife helped out at the school. She was like, I thought it was just the boys. And she was like, God damn, them girls stink too.
Oh yeah, everybody. Stink is non-discriminate. It's equal opportunity. Everyone gets
a house of funk.
Yeah. I was talking to, because I mean, you'd be surprised. Like I mentioned earlier, we developed a good relationship with my son's assistant principal, and I happened to be in there. Oh, this is when he was like cussing out his teacher, and I was already on vacation. So then I went in and was hanging out in her office, and she knows I'm a principal too. So we were talking, and she's like, "Man, these kids." She's like, "I cannot wait for them to just be gone." She's like, I'm glad we only have them for just a couple years. And I was like, listen, I tell parents all the time. I was like, the main goal in middle school is just one, make sure they're not like murdering each other and that they learn how to use deodorant. And she was like, thank you. She's like, it really is that. Like, they are so mean to each other. Yeah, she's like, these kids don't stop cussing. They just want to fight all the time. She's like, it's just active hormones and you can't do anything with it. She's like, it's the most like illogical thinking, just highly emotional. And she had said that too. And she's like, and then when you get the girls like hormones kicking in, she's like, oh, you can't compete. She's like, you just can't. I was like, how do you do it? Yeah. She's just like,
yeah, I will say like we talked about. Now, I don't think I'm a perfect parent. And I used to try to, not use so much foul language. Use so much foul language with my son until I looked at his phone and saw the way him and his friends talk to each other. I was like, what am I holding back for?
Yeah.
Motherfuckers out here talking like they Richard Pryor or some shit. What the fuck is going on with these kids?
Exactly.
Oh my God.
Well, that's what I try to tell my wife too, because when it's like you hear what my son's saying, and he's this like, what the fuck is wrong with you? We died. You stupid bitch. Like, he's going off. And she's like, you need to tell him to relax.
1v1 me, you pussy.
Yeah.
1v1 me.
And then I tell my wife, I'm like, because she's like, you need to tell him to relax. Like, he's being disrespectful. And I'm like, listen, I do agree with you. Like, 100% I agree with you. I said, but I guarantee if you got on the other end of the microphone, they're all yelling at each other like that. Like, that dialogue is insane. The way they communicate. I was like, it's just, they fucking go in on each other so hard. Like, there's a difference between hanging out with your boys and busting balls. This is like, yeah, you guys are like, oh
my God,
it's like, reckless, but like on a very like mentally unhealthy level.
Like, they like slut shaming.
Yeah,
it's like, what is going on?
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Like, this is the shit you talk to your enemies back in the day. Motherfucker, I see you on the block. It's like, man.
I call the police.
Slurs. Yeah. And then they talk shit like this to each other. And then they're like, so pizza tomorrow? Like,
yeah.
You guys
like,
are cool.
This is Tuesday. Yeah, it's like Tuesday. They going to rip each other's fucking head off. And then on Friday, they're like, yeah, we're going to go hang out tomorrow. Like, what?
Yeah. I thought you completely weren't friends anymore.
I thought y'all had beef. I thought this was
exactly.
a thing.
They're like, no, we were just playing Call of Duty. I'm like that?
Yeah. Like I thought you was gonna record an album this week about this shit, but I mean, I guess
drop a mixtape. Let them know.
Seriously.
Nah, I don't cuss in front of my mama to this day. I try my best not to cuss in front of my mama. And I've set the same rules for my kids. Like, don't cuss in front of me. And my youngest actually said fuck in front of me the other day. And they was like, I was like, yeah, you got. It slipped out, but I'm gonna let you get this walk right quick because I know what I'll be saying. So
yeah, like that's the same thing I tell my son. Like, look, bro, like I understand. I was a young boy. Like I'm not. People say, "Oh, Mr. Washington." Like, no, that's my father. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm old, but I ain't that old. But keep that shit from in front of your moms because she don't like that shit. Your sister don't like it. Like, just try to keep that shit to yourself as much as possible. Then he wants to blast the most ignorant rap music he can in his headphones and just rap every word walking around the house. I was like, I better not hear one more fucking rap lyric while you're outside of your room. I'm just gonna have to punch you in the face. I'm like, I don't know why violence is the only thing that you listen to. Like me threatening to like literally end you, but that's what I got to do. That's what I got to do. Because like, come on, bro. Like we talked.
I always go back to I believe it was A Christmas Story when Ralphie talks about his dad cussing.
Fudge.
But when he says, well, he talks about how when his dad cussed, he's all, it was like an art form. Yeah. Like, and it's like, yeah, intentional. One, I love cussing. I fucking love cussing. I've been cussing since day one. But it's like, there's the like flagrant cussing, and then like using it to brighten the colors. You know,
right. Like, one of those sentence enhancers. To quote my man Patrick Starr.
Exactly. Yeah, like my wife is always just like, "Do you have to cuss so much?" And I'm like, "No, I don't. Like,
I don't have to.
I don't. I just want to." And she's like, "Why do you cuss so much?" I'm like, "Have you met my family? I'm the least offensive person." I'm like, "My grandma says motherfucker born in Bernie Mac." Okay, so it's just like, where do you think I got this shit from? People used to love my grandma in high school. Like, if she give my friends a ride, they're like, "Why your grandma cuss so much?" I'm like, I didn't realize it was a lot. Well, I grew up with that shit. Like,
is it?
That's just what I'm used to. Like,
you're like, I just respond to motherfucker. Like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah, you call her on a good day.
Yeah, this is not the worst of it. I don't know. These kids.
I learned how to say nigga from my grandma. You know what I'm saying? She's the one who put me on.
So my kids don't say that, right? But my mom was here for my son's graduation, and my youngest was like, "Grandma said the N word." I'm like, like, where do you think I learned it? Where do you think?
Yeah, that's way different. It's way different. Well, let's kind of flip it a little bit. Let's lighten the mood a little. Let's get into some kind of like
that was hilarious. What you mean lighten the mood? That shit was funny as hell.
Well, I mean, we also did talk about wanting to murder our kids. So,
I mean, I think that's literally standard for anybody who has a kid that's a teenager.
Yeah,
that's just being a parent. Unless you got one of those weird kids that are like perfect and shit, and it's just like, yeah, they're gonna probably, that was the anomaly. You know what I'm saying? That was a glitch in the matrix.
Yeah, those are the weird ones. No, but I wanted to get into some some entertainment stuff, some fun stuff too, just to kind of catch up, because I know like last episode, like I said, was a little bit heavier. And this one you were definitely having a good time cutting up and shit like that. But I kind of wanted to get into just like what's everyone been up to entertainment wise. I know Sean's home playing video games now, and maybe catching up on some shows. So like, what do you guys been watching?
The last thing I just fucking watched Invincible this week. I hadn't even got a chance to watch it, even though I knew what was gonna happen. I just watched that.
Which one's Invincible? Is that the animated?
Amazon Prime?
Yes, the Robert
one. Yeah, that was really good. I really fucking
I mean, that. I have like 95% of those comics. I just never finished the last arc, so I gotta finish that up. But yeah, that was pretty good.
Was that last summer or last winter that it came out?
That was last spring. That was like March. That was like March of 2021. I think that the dates were saying. I think I'm gonna start watching. I never watched The Witcher season 2, so I gotta watch that. I think I'm gonna watch that next.
Yeah, I just watched a show on Hulu. It's like 8 episodes called The Bear.
I just was looking at that today. How is that?
It's really fucking good.
What is that about?
Okay, so it's one of the kids from fucking Shameless.
I did see a commercial for that right before we started recording. That's right.
He inherits his brother's restaurant, and so it's his own. There's quite a few layers to it, but the gist is like him like struggling with his brother's loss of his brother and this restaurant experience. It's fucking amazing. Like that show,
interesting.
It's got a lot of emotion. Some of the episodes are like really fucking intense because it's kind of funny because the kid is from Shameless, but the way it's shot and the way the structure of the show is, it almost feels like a Shameless spinoff. Because Shameless can be, it's kind of got that dark humor, and it's not all the way a full comedy, but it's not all the way a full drama. You know what I mean? Like it kind of lives in the in-between. It's kind of like that. Oh, it takes place in Chicago as well. But I highly recommend it. And that shit, because I know Fowler was talking about it a couple weeks ago, and he was like, you guys should kind of watch the show. And then we were all like, fuck you, your opinions are dumb, so we don't watch it. But now an opinion that matters, I'm saying watch it. And fuck my
side note, actually, me and my wife did watch The Lincoln Lawyer on Netflix. That was pretty good.
Oh yeah, I heard. Yeah, I've heard good things about that as well. But
it was weird because it's like, the movie The Lincoln Lawyer was Matthew McConaughey, and then in the show, the dude is randomly Mexican. I was like,
what are you saying? You saying Mexicans can't be lawyers? That's what you're saying?
That's exactly
what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I thought he's probably Mexican from the get-go, and then they switched him to a white dude for the movie.
That's possible.
Since it was a series of books, I'm pretty sure that's probably what happened.
Probably what really went down. They called him Mateo McConaughey.
All right.
The Bear, I recommend watching it. Like I really, really do. And like I said, it's only 8 episodes, so you can get through it. It's on Hulu. You could really, really get through it like super quick. Yeah. And then my son and I, because like I said, he's always talking about Chief Keef, and one of Chief Keef's alternate names is Sosa. So my son was asking me about Scarface, and so we watched Scarface as a miniseries. Like we kind of stood up and watched it over like 3 days.
That's right. That's a better way of doing that.
Yeah,
you got to decompress after about. Let's give that's about 45 minutes. Let's walk away for a little bit.
But to kind of take it back to what Shaun was saying, though, mild in comparison to most modern day rap albums.
yeah, that's true.
So it was just like, I mean, it's definitely dated. It kind of comes because I hadn't seen it in a long time, and kind of seeing how movies have progressed in stories and inclusivity has like changed so much. Yeah. It comes off real corny.
Yeah,
like Al Pacino being a Cuban.
Yeah, I was gonna say the goddamn Italian guy playing a Cuban American. Yeah.
I mean, it was like we all knew then, but now when you hear it now, and it's just like, oh, you're talking to me. It's like, wow, you really leaned into this. Like, it kind of became a little parody where it's like, this don't hit the same. Like it does when it was the only gangster movie, it was like, it's just crazy. Fucking Tony Montana,
Yeah.
Big picture, it's kind of dumb. They
probably should redo that movie. That movie probably needs a remake.
Yeah, wasn't that bad?
They not. They were going to do one with one of the rappers. Was it Pitbull?
Yeah.
Pitbull.
Yeah, I thought it was one of them Terror Squad dudes. They was trying to do a remake with it.
Man, how you gonna do it with Mr. Worldwide? He's super positive.
It was gonna be at one point they was talking about doing it with actual Cuban links from Terror Squad. Then it got talked about doing it with Pitbull. Yeah, that was gonna be a thing at one point.
What was he gonna be slinging? Positivity?
Exactly. I'm like, he's entirely too likable.
Right, seriously.
Who doesn't like Pitbull, man? Hey, come on.
I mean, he does say "dale."
Dale.
Hey, every time
I know that dude vote Republican, so I don't fuck with him.
Every time I see how many
Pitbull's a real street dude, believe it or not.
Well, I'm sorry. Like I've said this. Like depending on where you're from, if you're a Latino and you make over $50,000, you definitely vote Republican, depending on what state you live in.
That's 100%.
Especially them Cuban dudes, man. For whatever reason, they love them some motherfucking Reagan, and they never let that shit go.
No,
hey man, zero. If you make $40,000 in Texas and you Mexican, you definitely a Republican. You think that you rich as shit, and I don't understand it. I don't get it. that shit doesn't make sense. It's like you still ain't quite in the tax bracket you think you in, homeboy.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
So,
my son broke my wife's heart too, because one of my wife's favorite movies is Goodfellas. So she says, well, since you guys watched Scarface.
I just watched that the other day. I thought that they held up pretty decently.
Well, he, like I said, he broke her heart. Because this is like, my wife will quote this movie. She could do that. I confidently feel she could do that movie line by line, front and back, without even watching it. She fucking lives for it. And so she's like, well, you guys should watch Goodfellas. And she watched Scarface, kind of compare the two. She's like, I think it's a much better gangster movie. And I was like, you might be right. Well, let's see. Did not hold his attention. And he was like,
really?
This movie is he was like, this movie's corny. Movie. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't get it.
He's not the age yet for that movie. That movie's a little bit more sophisticated.
But what I did tell him though, I was like, Scarface and Goodfellas combined make up the Grand Theft Auto universe. Like,
yes,
like the amount of referencing that takes place because of those. I was like, Vice City is literally Scarface, even down to the soundtrack. Yeah. Like, it is all in all.
The last mission is Scarface.
Yeah. I was like, so when you really like, if you're into those games, these are the blueprints. I was like, you got to know these two. But he was like, fucking Goodfellas. He's like, I don't get it. He's like, I don't understand. It just seems dumb. Like, it didn't work for him. But I also think that a lot of
isn't the heist in the last Grand Theft Auto kind of based around the one that they don't show in Goodfellas? Isn't it kind of the same thing?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's like right spot on. But I also think it's as I look back at it though, I think there's a little just a tick or two more of maturity needed for someone my son's age to get like a Scorsese movie.
Because for teenagers and like gangster shit, they're expecting to see like, rappers and shit. Or people acting like that, like being completely ridiculous and over
it's like when we saw Boys in the Hood.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Now watch Boys in the Hood today, and I know this is slanderous. It's corny. Like it's not that great.
I mean, my man's punching the air like in the real emotional scene. It's just like that shit looks really bad today. It does not hold. It does not hold up. Yeah,
I mean, Menace to Society is a completely different one for sure.
That shit is like just it's just crazy. Like that whole movie is just insane, really.
Yeah,
but the shit that like people in general, now I wouldn't even say just kids, but like what's in now versus what was in then is a lot different. Because I mean, we talking about Boys in the Hood was what, 91, 92?
Shit, maybe.
I think it was. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking 30 goddamn years ago. That's a lot different.
Now I gotta look that up.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking up right now.
I'm trying to think, like, what was
91.
The last, like,
91.
Quote unquote gangster movie to come out recently. Like I can't even think of one.
Gangster movie in terms of what?
Star
No, he froze.
Oh.
Gangster movie in terms of like starring black people or just in general?
Just in general. Like what was the last like big gangster movie?
There was one recently.
Like well, Delvin, think about it. I mean, we had a run because it was like we had like Boys in the Hood, we had Menace to Society, we had fucking Set It Off.
I mean, let's be honest. Like those
in a run.
Those 90s movies were like a step above blaxploitation.
Yes.
Where it's just like this is the shit that people really want to talk about right now. So we just gonna fucking exhaust it until the shit isn't like good anymore. That's just kind of like what happened. So like my wife recently, I don't even know what started this. She's been watching like classic black movies because she never watched them in her youth because her parents are a little older, so she didn't have like a younger cool uncle to have her see that shit.
So what did she
was
see?
watching?
Like, what was she watching?
She was watching Poetic Justice, and I was like, "This movie's not good." You're like people like it's like a hood classic, but as an actual movie, it's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like Tupac and Janet, they act well in the movie, but the
plot is dumb.
Yeah. No, it is the weaker of that series of films.
Yeah, and she was like, "Oh yeah, it is dumb." And then she watched Jason's Lyric, and I was like, "This movie's not good either. It's better than Poetic Justice."
Well, I was gonna say back to Poetic Justice. I mean, the coldest part though was when she was like, "You want to smell my punani?" And then her friend was like,
no. The best part of the movie is when he threw Joe Torre's brush and then just left him on the side of the freeway. That shit was hilarious. And I'm just thinking about looking at Poetic Justice too. It's like thinking about how far Regina King has come from just being the hood ass chick in every movie in the early 90s.
From 227. Like, I mean, take it way back.
Yeah. She was young in 227 and then super hood in every movie. And then she just became like
one of Hollywood's elite actresses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she watched
and
Jason's
voiceover, like, I mean, she's fucking,
the Boondocks is classic.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
She also watched Harlem Nights, which is criminally underrated because that movie's still hilarious.
Mm-hmm. You know who's underrated big time? And I feel like this person deserves a lot of recognition. Why do we not hear about Robert Townsend? Where is Robert Townsend?
He was really big in the 90s, and then I don't know if he just I don't want to say stuff. Yeah, I feel like he just at a certain point after the Parenthood, he just didn't want to be in front of the camera anymore. I feel like
he executive produced a lot of stuff.
Yeah. But I'm saying, like, I think he deserves the credit. Like, I think he deserves a lot of credit because it was like I
agree.
He was all the Wayans before the Wayans. You know what I mean?
He came around. It was about the same time. They existed in the same.
They were contemporaries because like the Wayans was even in like what you call it
Media Man, weren't they?
Media Man, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No,
and Hollywood Shuffle. So, you know.
Yeah, it was mid to late because it was like he had some movies and things he did, and then the Parenthood was like mid 90s.
Yeah.
But I was say, but even with that, like what we still talk Wayans, but we like.
But at that point,
you never hear about him.
But
I'm looking at his IMDb right now.
I'm giving you
everything.
now.
Executive producer. Just everything.
Yeah.
The last thing he directed was The Wonder Years, which the reboot.
Like the new one. But like the thing with Robert Townsend was in the 90s, everybody wanted people who were going to be like super R-rated. And after the Parenthood, that wasn't really him.
Yeah.
And I think that was part of it. Like he wasn't that dude who was going to be super R-rated like in his comedy and everything.
Yeah.
And so I think that I wouldn't even say it hurt him, but it hurt his
did go in the more like like you said, the R-rated realm, stuff like that. But it was just like I feel like he really like crafted a lot of stuff that's like popular. He did mainstream, like current mainstream Black comedy then, just now refined. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also, I just want to put out there, my wife was watching Harlem Nights, and she was like, "You saw this in the theater?" I was like, "Yeah, my mama had no babysitter, so when certain shit happened, she just said cover your eyes." And that's what I did. Like that, I was like, that was the late 80s, early 90s. That's how I used to go.
I remember having to leave the theater to go get snacks when the titties came out in Purple Rain. I ain't see them titties till many years later. It's like, oh, some titties in this movie. Nice.
But then it's funny because like my wife watching
in Lake Minnetonka.
my wife watching Harlem Nights, and I'm like, you see how my family cursed? Like, why would they think that was something that I couldn't handle at the time?
That's not it. Oh, that shit was funny too,
like,
because
it's like Sunday dinner.
Back to Scarface real quick because I knew there was gonna be titties in Scarface, and it's like one pair, but I was like, how's this kid gonna react? You know what I mean? Like, is my son gonna like freak out? Is he just gonna be like, it's titties? Like, what's he gonna do? And so then fucking homeboy is talking to Tony Montana is talking to Manolo, and there's a lady there laying topless. And so I just kind of glance over at my son, and he fully is like hands over the eyes.
Aww.
That's good. Good kid.
So, this poor nigga was fucking traumatized. He's never gonna. My son will guaranteed never have like a healthy relationship because my wife said to him,
"No. That nigga was on his computer later talking. Google search of Scarface titties."
She said, "Well, my wife said
that seemed like a bad search to try to pull off."
Yeah. That's also where you learn too. Like, you can't just be Googling things.
You got to be more. You got to be way more specific.
Yeah. But I said to my wife, I go, he covered his eyes because there were boobs on the screen. And so she told him, she was like, you used to have titties in your mouth. How do you think you were fed as a baby?
Yeah, sir.
That is traumatizing as a child.
Right?
That is a different titty.
So then I was like, that's why I said right now, I know my son is never going to have a healthy relationship.
Okay,
yeah.
This is also terrible parenting. This is terrible parenting, and I can admit it. Since my son is 15 and he thinks he's cool and grown, like every once in a while, me and my wife will be talking, and I'll just say something like, mad sexual, like innuendo that I know he understands. He'd be like, "You got to chill, Dad." He's so mad.
Shaun's at the dinner table. Man, remember when I was hitting it from the back? You're like, hey.
Did y'all watch Obi-Wan?
Yeah,
I have not seen it yet. I have not yet because I don't watch TV anymore. So I got to get back into it.
Well, whenever you get the opportunity,
to get back into it. I heard it was really good though.
It really was. I was unlike most Star Wars fans. I actually like Star Wars. So
yeah, exactly.
I very much enjoyed it.
I love the meme that's like Star Wars fan fighting Star Wars fan, watching Star Wars fan fight Star Wars fans.
So I didn't watch Obi-Wan, but I remember like Chad put like, "Oh man, this is the best thing they put out since Empire." I'm like, since '83? Like, are you serious? Like, bro, chill out, bro.
Yeah.
Chad be mad about everything.
That's fans for sure. I haven't watched it, but you know what I have been watching is Miss Marvel.
So good.
I'm so behind. Really the last Marvel series I watched was what was before Moon Knight? That was the last one I watched.
That was
Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Hawkeye. Yeah, that was the last one I watched. So I gotta catch up on those.
But you know what?
I like Hawkeye too. I don't know if people are tripping.
Yeah,
I got this one.
I really enjoyed it.
Wait, I got a mini rant. It's gonna take just a second. Would you motherfuckers please stop acting like these Disney Plus shows should have the same budget as a big budget Marvel movie? That is not how TV works. That's not how movies work. It's not going to be the same. Like, it just doesn't. You don't make $1 billion off of a Disney Plus show, no matter how many fucking people watch it. It just doesn't work that way. So you can't put that much money into it. Like, calm the fuck down. Shit.
Yeah, but they're like, the effects aren't the same. No, I agree. But in that same vein, if you like Into the Spider-Verse, like, you know how Spider-Verse is like, it's immersive. Like, not only is there the acting on the screen, there's this sort of background, like there's active animation all over the place. And it's like, it's the same aesthetic, but with live acting. And so like, I was listening to, what is it? For All Nerds, their podcast, and the way that they broke down the show is like fantastic. Cause they were talking about how, they flip the script on texting. Like now we're all used to like when in a scene where one person's texting another, you just see the bubbles pop up on the side of the screen, right? Boop, boop, boop. But when the main character, Kamala, was texting her friend, like the texting was embedded in the background. Like it was part of like the fucking store's like signage. Like it was active in the environment. And I was like, damn, this is like really amazing. And then the fact that they're like Pakistani, but not like whitewashed Pakistani. Like they are like, they're using the language, they're holding their heritage. It's not like we're Pakistani and we live on Grove. And this is my friend Jeff and my best friend Sarah. You know what I mean? Like, like they that shit is Pakistani, like for real. And so it's just like I love that.
Apologies to any Sarahs and Jeff listening to the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
True. Like we're not talking about you, Sarah and or Jeff. You know, we're just saying a lot of these shows do that, where then it's like the main character also becomes the token person of color, whereas this one like plays way different. And then it's accessible too. Like my daughter is not into like any of the Marvel stuff. It's just not her thing. She doesn't consider it bad. She's just like, it doesn't hold my attention. I'm just not into like superheroes. This one does, because the character is relatable. So aside from, you know, her learning her abilities, it really is like coming of age, learning about
let me
yourself.
Stop you real quick. Second mini rant. Because I see this on Facebook all the time. Like people are like, oh, the boys are so much better than
Facebook.
people are so much better than, or even on social media, the boys are so much better than Miss Marvel. It's like, that's not a fucking apples to apples comparison.
No,
not even close.
Like, yeah, they both
no.
they both have superheroes in them. They are not at all aiming for the same audience. Like, stop. It's just like, just say that you don't want anything without cussing and blood, and then move on. It's just like Invincible isn't for my daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, there is such thing as a target audience, and I just need people to stop saying one thing is better or not better. It's like, one thing is your thing, one thing isn't your thing.
Yeah, because you can easily say
ridiculous.
like, you know what, like, I don't like Miss Marvel because it, like you said, I prefer my superheroes to be more aggressive, to have cursing. Okay, cool, fine, that's totally fine. Or you could be like, I don't like my superheroes like that. You know, okay, that's fine too. But I totally agree to be like, this isn't like that, so I don't like it. It's like, that shit is dumb. Like, they just exist similarly, but in different worlds. And that's totally all right.
There has to be an entry point, right? Like you say, like, what are you gonna do? Just tell your daughter to watch The Boys and expect her to be like, oh yeah, this is cool. It doesn't make any fucking sense.
No, zero. But yeah, Miss Marvel, I highly recommend watching it. Like, it's really, really well done. And even, I will say this, the third episode that just happened, maybe not the strongest, but I see how they're trying to progress the story. But it's also not bad.
Yeah.
You know, it just was like,
Whereas I found that to be such a fascinating episode because they did so it moved the story in a way, but also there was stuff going on, like you said, in the background that I was like, when her friend goes to her house, lays down in her bed and pulls her hijab off.
Yeah.
That's us being invited into a very personal relationship.
Very.
Yeah.
Because
you know how that's gonna go. When you just said that, I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh wow, yeah.
Well, because the friend is very progressive too. Because remember, she says she wears the hijab for herself, not for them.
What it is at that point, we've been invited into that room with them because, like we're a part of that situation because she wouldn't take it off where we actually just around. So we just have been invited into that. Like I said, it's just a shit like that there, man. It's just real on the low shit that I think is like so dope. And like I said, that whole episode, man, like it was just more, you know, that particular episode is more like, I think you learn a lot about Islam in general.
Yeah. Was it like
you know
character building episode? That's what it sounds like.
Not really. It's just, it was like you said, there's so much going on in the background. Her brother got married.
Yeah, I would say maybe not character building, but world building.
World building, definitely. Lore building. Yeah. And not to speak of Islam as lore, but I mean, my man, Tamor Hussein, who works at GameSpot and Giant Bomb, always talks about how Islam it has the best lore because he's a Pakistani Muslim. So like, you know what I'm saying, this show speaks loudly to him because it's his representation that he's never had before. So I don't know, man. I go all the way up for that show, bro. It's a new episode comes on in 1 minute. So will I be up tonight watching that? Maybe.
Well, I might have to go back into. I don't have no job.
I watch it. I mean, you're only a few episodes behind. It's a quick watch too. But
it's only 6 episodes total, so I've only got 3 left. So
my kids ain't in camp this week, so I ain't got no reason to get up in the morning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there you go. Boom, knock them out. But I was gonna say, even like, because we talk about like the world building piece, because it's educating you without lecturing you. Like, so the brother's getting married, and when he's like, you're only supposed to. Like, I think he calls it whatever the appropriate term is, but he's like, you're only supposed to hide 1 pair of my shoes, not all of my shoes. And then it's like, wait, that's a thing? You know, fucking immediately I'm like, Pakistani wedding, hiding. I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? So it's like, it's letting you in without the like, because I think a lot of times they'll be like, well, in a Mexican wedding, what we do, it's like they overly explain, whereas he just tossed it out there and it moved on, and it was like, okay, like this is, it's subtle in how they're educating you, you know?
Exactly. You see that ceremony take place, the actual wedding ceremony, not the reception, and they're sitting there. They say I do multiple times.
Yeah, 3 times.
So then you go and look that up, like, oh shit, is that a thing? Mm-hmm. And the audience is Allahu Akbar, and it's like you're like, wow, yo, it's like somebody pointed out on another podcast how in almost every movie or TV show or whatever, you hear Allahu Akbar, and it's always like it's a suicide bomber.
Yeah,
exactly.
No.
Whereas these people were, in at a ceremony, and it's a part of the ceremony of the wedding ceremony, and it was just so beautiful. Like I said, that third episode may not be the greatest superhero episode, but it's a really good episode.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. On For All Nerds, they talked about that too, where they said it's like, exactly the same thing. They were like, to hear Allah Akbar on the episode and not have it be, like you said, a suicide bomber, a terrorist, where it was like, no, they're actually using it. Because what is it? Like blessed be to God or something like that.
Yeah.
And I know I'm probably saying it way off base or something like that, but it's just like, it's like God, our equivalent to Catholicism, Christianity, God bless, And so, but we've heard it in a way that's like, oh, fuck, the guy fucking runs across the airplane and says some crazy shit. And it's like, no, they're actually just being like, peace be with you. Like, that's what it is. And so it's also tearing down those sort of like things that have been built into our like, our sort of cognitive structure to be like, yeah, this is, this is terrorists. It's like, no, man, they're just saying peace be with you. Like that's all it is. So that show is fantastic. They're doing an amazing job. And like I said, even if anything, the structure, the design, the aesthetic, like it has good writing, but then even in the background, I'm like, they put fucking work in this. Yeah. This show is not lazy at all. So people watch Miss Marvel for sure.
But it's about a kid with superpowers. What about the dope superheroes?
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
Like ain't no other superhero show gonna teach you about partition and learning about how India and Pakistan separated.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Man, it's just like you were saying about Star Wars, like Marvel fans and superhero fans in general are starting to get that way. We're just like, it just either like the shit or don't, but it's just like, go write your own thing if everything out here is so fucking terrible.
Yeah, if it's that bad, if it's that whack, then fine. Were you going to say something, Delvin?
No, I agree. Miss Marvel's a dope show. I enjoy it a lot. I think that I like that Marvel's doing this thing where they're just leaning into different cultures and backgrounds and showing you different aspects of life. They did it with Falcon and Winter Soldier when they were like, hey, here's a little bit more information on Falcon that you may not know about his people and stuff like that. And they did it on Moon Knight when they took you to a whole other place. Like, hey, this is what's going on with this character. She may or may not know. Get some little culture with that. I like that they kind of expand the MCU in a way where it's not just white guys from a certain area.
Not even just that, as much as it's like, you want a 6-hour like movie, like the same thing we get in the movies, you want them to do in a 6-hour show. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Yeah. There's a reason that they're expanding this to like a mini series or just 6-episode season, because they can do all that shit and it doesn't necessarily slow down the whole thing because they have so much time to expand that the whole universe.
Oh yeah, you really flesh it out.
There's no action. Oh my god, would you shut the fuck up? Like, people just fucking get on my nerves. Like,
I like we got into it with my Skim co-host Box about Falcon and Winter Soldier. I'm like,
that shit was cold.
I just know that I know he and others like him were not looking at that from the perspective I was.
I love the show.
Right.
Of course we do, because we love that show.
Show's great. I love what the show did. I love the show representation. I love that it touched on the fact that, hey, the simple question, like when we saw the whole thing in Endgame where, quote, spoilers for Endgame, Cap gave Falcon the shield. Yeah. People just thought,
not even just that. Not even just that. It's like both of the motherfuckers, Falcon and Winter Soldier, were both dusted, and people that they didn't know or Falcon's family was not. Yeah. So what happened? You act like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody didn't just come back. Like, they touched on that in Far From Home when it's like, hey, people are just coming back and doing everything. And everybody just appeared. And then what happens? Like, you don't just pick up 5 years later and like, oh, everything is Gucci. It don't fucking work that way.
Yeah. I like so much some of the aspects of that show. The show just...
This is part of the reason that, like, even though Chaufie like stay on Facebook, most of the reason I'm on there is because it's just people I actually know. But I'm in a couple of groups with people I don't know, and they get on my fucking nerves, and I'm like, I should just get out these groups. But I like to see what idiots are talking about every once in a while, and that's why I stay off Twitter, because I'm like, oh my, like, and the same thing, like, so many people who are fucking idiots just get to go on and share their opinion with everybody, and then when you tell them they're a fucking idiot, they want to get offended. I'm like, well, did you see what you said? You're obviously a fucking idiot. I don't get it. I'm trying to help you out. So that you know that you're fucking stupid.
Yeah, I told somebody they was on some nonsense though on Twitter Friday after the Supreme Court decision. They were like, I don't want to be actually right now. And I was just like, if you took it that way, that's on you, little homie. But that's not what I was saying. And
exactly.
Watch the tone.
yeah, exactly. But
have you guys watched? Have you guys watched? Just because we were on Disney Plus, have you guys watched the second Doctor Strange movie?
I saw it in the theaters.
Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
Yeah, because I want to check it out. What's your guys' opinion of it?
You haven't watched
without
it?
spoiling? No, I haven't yet. I didn't go to the theater and watch it. I was just waiting for it to come on Disney Plus.
So this is another thing people complaining like, oh my god, they could have had more cameos. Blah. Oh, shut the fuck up.
People wanted a different movie than they got and was mad about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, that's because you had expectations.
You hyped it up. Yeah, exactly.
You hyped take what take what was given to you as it was given to you, and it's a great movie. Yeah. But if you go in that motherfucker like, well, I expected to see Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Well, bro, that's you. No one told you that was going to happen. You made that up.
Yeah.
Like you think Marvel was going to pay that nigga $87 million to do that? Like, yeah, it's stupid.
Be wild.
It was good because like the MCU has been around since 2008, and people still cannot fathom that the MCU is not a carbon copy of the comic books. And I don't understand. Like, what else do they have to do to show you that they have changed things? It's not going to be the same. Everything that works in a comic book does not work in movies because in comic books, you got these 8, 10, 12 issue arcs to flesh it out versus 2 hours. You know, it just is not the same.
Well, and it's such a stuck point too, because people want originality. So when they go off script, it's you've ruined it. The universe is broken. It's like
people,
but then
people want, but they want what they want.
When they use the words like from the comp, like when they lift text, lazy writing, and it's like, well, what do you want? You want me to give you the comic both or ways. Not? Like the piston, damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Like I thought it was a good movie. But it's just like people were expecting like another Avengers movie. It's not an Avengers movie. Yeah. Well, no, was it ever supposed to be? And it's just like, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch it too again. I thought it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Pretty much a direct sequel to WandaVision, the end of WandaVision. Yes. So it's just like you pretty much go, you know, and for those who like, it's just more WandaVision. Yes, it is sort of, but it is a Doctor Strange movie, and Doctor Strange is the hero of that movie. So go into it with those. That's the expectation I would tell you to go into this with.
Nice.
It's like it is a Doctor Strange movie, and it is also introducing a new character that I thought was pretty good. And there was only one thing, Chaufie, after you said you had to talk to me, because there was only one thing that I had a question about. I wouldn't say I was disappointed. I was just curious, but I enjoyed it, and it sets up. It's just like everything that's been happening. It's just setting up all these different angles, like the multiverse. We saw how that was going to happen in Loki, and this is just another piece of how the multiverse is going to exist. And
same thing,
you know, how they going to play into it.
I feel like Miss Marvel is hooking us up too. So I would tell you to watch it before you finish Miss Marvel. In fact, because I bet you
watch it before I finish Miss Marvel.
Yeah, because I would think there's some things that might end up just coming together via Miss Marvel.
Probably. Yeah.
Okay. Now,
what's the next thing? What's the next thing?
I was just about to ask that because I don't typically pay attention to like the timeline. So I was curious what's next.
Yeah. Next TV show, She-Hulk. Next movie is Love and Thunder,
which is next week.
Yeah,
I definitely think there's no way that there's nothing in Love and Thunder about the multiverse. It just can't be possible.
Yeah.
Now,
but, their schedule got fucked up because of COVID though. So like Strange, this like Strange movie was supposed to be.
Is it a Guardians movie?
Thor. I think they're gonna be out of it in the first 10 minutes.
Okay. Because there still is another Guardians movie coming, right?
Yeah, yes. Guardians 3 and a Guardians Christmas special.
Yes. Oh shit.
Yeah. Like the Star Wars Christmas special. Yeah,
they made 3 wrapped, and it seems like it's weird because side note, that Nestle Cook commercial is on that I told you about when they bust the vanilla out. I'm like, DK Metcalf drinking that strawberry, nigga. That shit is delicious. Okay. They got a double chocolate. Hold on, I'm about to go back. Oh my god, double chocolate. I'm about to pause. They got all these flavors. But yeah. So originally, Strange was supposed to come out before Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But COVID fucked all that up. So I don't know how that changed their plans. But
America was supposed to be in American Chavez was supposed to be in Spider-Man.
Is that what was supposed to happen?
That was supposed to happen. Yeah.
Well, they got banana strawberry. That's probably whack.
Ugh.
Oh, that sounds terrible. Come on, that's quick. Y'all got to do better.
You know what? Don't knock until you try it. You might come back and be like, you know what? I was wrong.
Look,
fuck bananas.
You've been the smoothie. Well, hold on. You've been the smoothie king before,
hey.
right? Wait. You've been the smoothie king before, right? Or any smoothie place?
Yeah.
Yes.
Literally any smoothie with banana tastes like banana. Like it just does.
Yeah, bananas are fucking delicious. Like, what are you talking about?
They are not.
I mean, they're okay. Like I like bananas, but I don't want a strawberry, banana, apple, pineapple smoothie that tastes like fucking bananas. Because I could have just went home and ate a fucking banana.
You know what I'm saying? My favorite smoothie: banana, dates, oats. So delicious.
That's oh my god, you're old man. Anyway, that's ridiculous.
See, don't fucking nod your head. You're like 2 months older than me.
What I was gonna say, if you follow a lot of the actors in Guardians on like Twitter or anything or Instagram, like it was weird because they were all just like, "Oh, we're wrapped, and this may be the end of my character. It may not be." Like it's very odd because they don't necessarily seem sure. Now, Batista seems sure. He was the only one who posted who was just like, "Yeah, I think I'm kind of done with this shit." And even if they bring another Drax, they'll have to recast. I think he's just like, I'm old. I'm tired of being with my shirt off all the goddamn time. Yeah, but everybody else was just kind of like, I don't know what the future holds for this character. So I'm very interested to see what happens in Guardians because it seems like everybody's future is like really up in the air.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, I like what they're doing. Are we gonna get more Loki?
Yeah, Loki
got a season 2 is filming. They're filming right now.
But not another season of Wanda.
No. Wanda was a one shot. But
it doesn't make sense to have another season at this point.
Yeah. But they also said Obi-Wan was only gonna be one shot, and now all of a sudden they're like, maybe not. So
in Obi-Wan, do we get Baby Yoda?
No. No.
See, I haven't watched Obi-Wan yet, but I'm like, at what point does that just become Rebels? You know what I'm saying? Like
I would say no because Ahsoka's coming out.
No, not just
Ahsoka's plot is literally Rebels.
I mean, in terms of the timeline, like at one point, is it just like it's the same shit that happened? Like, you know what I mean?
It becomes redundant.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, it'll probably work. They can figure it out. I mean, people are smart, and especially if it's gonna make them some money.
Yeah.
Speaking of Obi-Wan, hold on. Have any of y'all seen the video when McGregor picked his lightsaber originally, and he almost picked Mace Windu's?
I did not see that.
Nice. That's cool.
There's like a video if you just Google like Ewan McGregor picking his lightsaber, and they literally just bring him a case of handles, and like he almost picked the one that Mace Windu has, and then he puts it back and like, oh no, I like this one better. Like,
I would think that would have been established. Cool. Did they never show us Obi-Wan's lightsaber in New Hope?
Not really. They showed like pieces of it. I don't think they showed the whole thing.
I think that there was supposed to be. Yeah, I feel like it was one of those things where it was like maybe at some point in the prequels he loses it and gets a new one. Kind of like, Anakin or something does. Because Anakin's on what, like his fourth one by the time the Revenge of the Sith happens, or maybe even more. Because like in Attack of the Clones, I was it was on not too long ago, and I was watching it, and his lightsaber gets fucked up. He's like, not again, Obi-Wan's gonna kill me. So it's just like he keeps going through lightsaber handles.
And I want to say he lost it a lot in the TV show too.
You're saying basically your son is Anakin?
Basically.
He's just out here losing shit. He's like, I gotta get another one.
Also, shout out to James Earl Jones. Still got that strong ass voice.
Yeah, bruh.
Oh, did he? So he did the Vader in this?
Yeah.
Damn.
Hey, I still think it's funny. Like, one of my favorite episodes of next to The Big Bang Theory is with him talking about you like Star Wars, huh? And then him going and just being an ass and pulling a prank on what you call it? I can't think of Leah's real name. I've been drinking whiskey for like 4 hours. So there's that. But yeah, James Earl Jones has been doing big things ever since Coming to America. He ain't gonna stop. I mean, he was even in White Ass Coming to America too. I never even finished that movie because that shit was terrible.
No one did.
Yeah,
but he really has been like that James Earl Jones for like 100 years. Like that look, everything. I was just like, man, he's always been this dude. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, keep getting them checks.
Yeah, he's another one like Regina King, man. They deserve like all the respect on their name. They're still working, still changing shit, still being at the forefront. And
because he easily could have been like, I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, and still like having people not realize he's their favorite voice or favorite actor,
Yeah, after seeing the original, like the original trilogy is just kind of like, or the prequels, it's like it ain't no way that this little white boy, even with the help of this suit, could sound like this tall black man.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry,
you know what?
Just can't happen. It ain't no way.
I feel like that's addressed in Obi-Wan.
Yeah. Okay, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Yes.
Darth Vader, Nubian God.
Oh shit.
Oh my God. I told my kid they need to watch Chasing Amy. God dang, I love that movie.
Yeah, I love it.
I think that's a good long time. I've seen that in a long time. Wow. It's funny because if you actually look at shit now, like that movie's hella problematic.
Oh, for sure. But
no doubt about it.
It's funny how many things we love. We just like, you look back on it, you're like, wow, that is not okay.
Just think about because I was talking to someone about this recently. Austin Powers would never come out today. Never.
No.
Yeah,
it is so like out of line with like this the stereotypes, the like misogyny, like it's crazy. Like, and that movie was like, kids in second grade like quoting it because they were seeing it all the time.
Yeah,
it's a different world.
I mean, that shit was number one like a motherfucker. Like all three of them bitches was number one for at least a couple weeks.
Yeah.
It does not hold up.
Now, granted, the ones with Beyonce,
it's real bad.
You know how many times I go through life just saying it's a bit nutty.
No, my favorite is always who does number 2 work for?
Number 2 work. Damn, boy, what did you eat? Oh my God. There's enough jokes in that shit that it's held up.
No, it's just true.
That when he's about to eat the skin, he's like, you're not gonna eat. You did. You ate that.
I was talking to someone recently because they were talking about how like they were a kid when the Beavis and Butthead movie came out. And I was like, shit. I was like, you were 7? I was like, man. I was working in a movie theater. It was like I was still going to community college. Yeah. Oh, no shit. And it was like, and this was like one of those like perfect like summer jobs too, because it was a discount movie theater. Me and all my friends worked there. So we just fucked around all day long. And then once like the theater was done, then we would just stay in the theater overnight. And it was just like basically just fucking party in the theater. And I remember just watching over and over one night. It was like Beavis and Butthead Do America, buttered up with Austin Powers. And I think we watched those movies each like
I was thinking
2 to 3 times.
Thinking about that, but also like the South Park movie would never come out today. That shit was insane.
Man, you know what? I feel like South Park itself is nowadays. South Park is just as ribald as that movie is at this point. So they probably be okay.
You can't have a whole movie about kids looking for the clitoris. That's just not going to happen in 2022.
Yeah, that part might not be it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
But that's also because South Park Kid is to the MAGA crowd now, so they're just talking free speech and you know.
Wasn't that in the South Park movie when they were talking about some Operation? What was it? Operation Hide Behind the Darkies?
Hide Behind the Darkies.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, absolutely no.
You see? No, not at all.
Have any of y'all watched that new Beavis and Butthead movie that just came out?
Oh yeah, I watched it.
How is it?
I'll say this.
That bad, huh?
No. I didn't think it was bad at all. It's it takes a minute to settle back into. It is a tamer Beavis and Butthead, but for the nostalgic sort of sense of things, it's funny. But it's not, you're not getting fucking, you need to go into it knowing like this is Beavis and Butthead. You know what I mean? Like it's not stellar writing. It's like these are two dudes saying fucking dick and ball jokes like pretty much the whole time and like innuendo. But I could tell that it did hit. So watched it with my son, we watched it kind of like as a family. My daughter fully tuned out and she was just on her iPad. But my son though, he was getting the jokes. Like they were at his level, where they're just like, he said but, or like he at some point fucking he just turns into cornholio and there was some laughter going on. So it's just dumb, but it's like they don't have the reference of the show or even the first movie. Because a lot of the show, was really just critiquing fucking videos. Yeah. And like I remember watching Beavis and Butthead Do America and thinking that movie, like, it sucked real bad. But it was because the show was so different, So it was just a different contrast. But it's just it almost feels like visiting a friend. You know what I mean? It's like I'll visit Shaun, but I don't need to see him again. So I don't know. That's rude. Check it out. But anyways, I think it's a good place to kind of put a pin in things. I know it's late out for you guys. I'm about to go eat some ice cream. I'm hella thirsty. But let's go around the.
I've been drinking this whole time. Shit.
I know I was too. But that's all.
Makers, baby.
We're thirsty. Delvin, what you got going on? What's cooking with you?
Nothing, man. Delvin Cox Experience. Check it out. Play some video games. That's been an interesting episode the last week with Donnie, Dev, and Chaufie was on last week's episode.
Oh, yeah. Let me talk about that real quick. That shit was fucking hilarious. So I was like, hey, let me get on PSVG and talk with you guys, fucking cut up. And then Donnie was like, I think it's a good idea. So I was like, okay, cool. So they do these bumpers before they hit the news where they have people send in like, hey guys, it's Chaufie. I want to hear about the news and fucking wacky video, whatever, This video kicks in and it's because it's Dev, that ninja Dev, it's Delvin, it's Donnie, and usually there's another person in the fourth chair. Used to be Elaine, but Elaine's out of life. And so the bumper kicks in and you get this guy, what do you say? Dev. And then he like keeps going, he's like, that ninja. And then you realize it's fucking Chris Hansen.
Yes.
And so he's like playing this whole like To Catch a Predator bit on him. And he's just like going off and we fucking were dying. They must have played that bit like 4 times.
Chris Hansen from To Catch a Predator.
They did the whole fucking cameo thing. And I was like, damn, you just ruined someone's life in a minute. Like, is this how you do your friends? This is fucking wild. But the highlight for me, and I don't think Mike sent it out just out of respect or maybe being told not to, but he made the wildest fucking meme where it's like a picture of Devin, a picture of, Predator from Predator the movie. And then it says, what's the difference between these two? And then it's Chris Hansen saying, I don't see any difference. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, we can't put that out there. We can't do a dude like that. No. We can't do a dude like that. No.
That's hilarious.
There's certain things you gotta just say have veto power to, and that's what I'm like.
I just want to say that all I can think of is the Boondocks episode. Be like, I like to call you Chris Hansen.
Because let me say, like, though that joke, it would have broke the internet for the day. It did have Dev's full face on there, so I was like, you can't do that. Like you can't put your man out like that. I'll text it to you guys, but
because people will really start thinking that shit. Nah, we can't do that.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's got a reputable job. You can't be ruining people's careers off a joke because the internet will take it wild. I was saying stuff like, man, you got no more play dates at your house. Like your kids got no more friends anymore. Just
man, we talked about this before. How things that are not what they seem, the internet will take and go crazy. Hey man, people still can't eat hot dogs in peace. We've been going on 2 years now. Yeah. Can't eat a glizzy without somebody taking a video of you, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Hey, man. Hey, that is the truth. Like
people still talk about punching me in the face.
Yep.
How's that different than any other day?
No, that's not good. Because somebody gonna really get fucked up one day trying it off of that goddamn meme. Somebody gonna get their ass whooped.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, someone will get it. But that was a ton of fun. That was fucking hilarious, and I had a good time on there. So I was glad I was a part of it.
Oh, okay. Hold on, let me see. Jesus Christ!
It's cold, man. It's cold.
Whole world, man.
Y'all motherfuckers Photoshop game be quick, boy. I tell you.
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. Fowler is fucking quick with it, man. I was like, yikes. That fucking oof. It can't go out. It can't be seen.
I guess this is how adults act like our teenage sons.
Right.
Like,
yes.
You know, we're not gonna talk too much shit about you. We just gonna put a picture of you and be in the predator on the
internet. You just brought it full circle. That is the truth. These kids talking wild shit to each other, and we're here passing like disrespectful memes. Yeah, that's fucked up.
Can't even do it like that.
Yeah, no kidding. How about you, T? What you got going on?
You know what it is? It's Stay Scrunchy and Milk. Every Thursday we release an episode. I have been trying my best to get over my own goddamn self and try to reach out to more people to be guests on my show. And I finally asked somebody who I've been wanting to get on this show fucking forever, would he be on the show?
That's what's up.
And he said immediately, he was like, I've been waiting. I've been like, bro, that's me in my own head, and I'm sorry. So next week I have a very special guest. That's gonna be dope. And I'm hype off of that shit. And like I said, but I'm just like I said, I'm trying to get this battery in my back and just try to, you know what I'm saying, build and do what I gotta do. I had a listener tell me, you keep inviting people who kick with Chaufie on the show, then it's gonna be you know who listen to it. And I'm like, I mean, don't be disrespect my man like that.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Give me that person because I'm about to talk to them right now. Hey, relax.
Well, I think their point was they want me
expand
to grow, and I'm like, I'm with you. I hear you. Let's start with my man's who I got, like I said, my guest who I got next week, and I'm very excited to have him on the show. I'm saying, got that shit scheduled. Feel me? I'm saying, trying to be a grown up.
Rapper MC Shan.
Oh my God!
Damn.
Jesus Christ!
If I get MC Shan on it, yeah, I tell you that.
Get out there on it.
It's the inventor of them baller ass screens that he got up there. That's what it is. The person who invented putting the screen up and down, depending on which window you open.
If I could get my man like Snow, I remember Snow and Former.
Yes.
If I could get him to do a show, man, just sit and shoot the shit about that song.
That was my jam. I like that song.
Dude,
what about your?
I unironically love that song.
Though?
Yeah, it's a good song.
What'd you say?
But so what about your voiceover homeboy?
Oh,
Mark Hamill.
Why are you bringing that up, man? Why are you bringing that up, man? What's that? What's disrespectful for that?
There's some beef out in these Ohio streets.
Stay Scrunchy and Milk. We out there every week. It's dope. I fuck with it. I host it. I edit. I do a lot of work on that show. And the show that goes up Thursday. By the time you hear it went up last night. I got so frustrated, and at the end of that show, I was just like, "I'm sorry, I gave you such a fucked up episode." And when you hear it, you'll be like, "Oh, I can see what went astray here." I was very upset, man.
Was that Gabe on a 4-second delay?
There you go.
Damn.
There you
got
go.
that dial up, huh? Got that dial up.
Nah, his man's is traveling the U.S. And when I did an episode, it was really challenging. No, and not disrespecting the show, but it was like we talk about something, and then 4 seconds later, yeah, tuna sandwiches are great. You're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Hey man, it used to be like that with me when I first moved out here. I had to institute a no internet usage policy in the household when I was doing podcasts.
That's right, you
like,
did.
You motherfucker, y'all can't stream no videos in this bitch. Don't be on your devices. Nothing. Take your ass to sleep. Because it was the same way. I'd be like, huh? Y'all be like, hey, that was 15 seconds ago. I was like, God damn it. It's like somebody must be streaming Netflix in this bitch. Let me go see what's going on now.
You would. Reset should be like, I gotta reset my router mid-show.
Real shit. Yeah. Real shit.
This is why he
I got
that
fiber
screens
now,
in his house.
I got that I got that terabyte connection now, and can't nobody fuck with me. Okay, it's all good.
King Kong.
Exactly.
Well, Shaun, what do you got going on? What's next on your agenda?
Shit, you know that. Why you even asking?
I mean, real shit. I mean, I'm going to these gyms. I'm taking the kids to wherever they need to go. Still coaching softball, even though I tried to quit. You know, same old shit until I find another job that's gonna take up all my goddamn time. So just trying to be try not to choke my son out. I mean, we talked about that. Try not to choke out a teenage boy.
I mean, it's hard. It's real hard.
Yes.
Hey man, like look, like I said, he's gonna have to go to Chicago to the South Side for a week. If he don't come back more appreciative after that, then shit, I don't know. I got nothing.
You don't know. He might. Your son might turn up real hard. He might fall in love with the street.
Please, it's crazy as hell. That motherfucker gonna go up to. He about to go up to 35th and State wearing Crocs and shit. Everybody gonna be looking at his ass. What the fuck? Like, where you coming from, bro? You got these little booty shorts on and Crocs. You know these boys is wearing glass shorts these days.
Your son's not gonna know how to order at Harold.
Oh, not at all. My dad gonna have to order for him. I told him. I said, hey man, you go up to Chicago wearing them glass shorts like you doing, rolling them up a couple times and see what happens. Okay, we'll catch somebody fresh out the pen on your ass. Talk about, hey young boy. I'm definitely gonna be fuck around, catch the booty warrior up there, boy. I'm telling you. Booty warrior. Saying, but other than that, man, like this is like July is like the month that we actually get to relax for the most part. My boy Theo is gonna come down here for a week. We're gonna throw a party for his birthday.
Nice.
Hopefully go on vacation. You know, shit like that. Cause like I said, the kids start school fucking like August 5th. You know, so shit, summer's half over.
It's hella early. Yeah. Nice. Yeah, and on my end, you know, I'm on summer vacation right now, so I'm just trying to like chill out, decompress a little. This fucking school year, like I've mentioned, has just been like insane. But it seriously has got me like thinking like, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. Like I genuinely don't want to go to work. Or not because I don't want to work, but of course, yeah, I don't want to work. But like with this, like I mentioned before, like because of how like politicized everything is, and now even these new changes kind of happening, like Supreme Court fucking wilding out, like I don't want to go back. I just imagine teachers fucking tripping, parents are gonna be tripping even harder. I'm like, I just want your kids to learn how to fucking read and write and like do some math. That's really what it comes down to.
I'll say what you can't say. Parents are the fucking problem, not the kids. It's like that in school. 1,000%. It's like that in sports. Their parents are fucking ridiculous. Like I want little Jimmy to do this in school. Well, fucking homeschool them then, bitch. Yeah. Like nobody trying to hear that shit. Like,
well, like I said,
and I'm not even saying bitch as a female. I'm just saying man, woman, child, all the other bitches.
Non-gender
getting on my nerves. Everybody.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like I said on the last episode too, like it's just, you know, the teachers aren't going to fucking vaccinate your kids. Like teachers aren't going to try to like try to make your kids like gay, bi, transgender or not. I can barely get these fucking people to like teach science, like just to teach like basic like math. Like I'm really trying to get them to teach your kids, and you think we want to have like this whole fucking other agenda? Like it's not real. And so honestly, like I have been doing like a lot of like, what can I do? Like with a degree like mine, I'm kind of stuck. Like it's not like a business degree that I can flip into a lot of things. Also, I've been doing this for a long time too. So it's like, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do. So unless I got a hookup to be able to like do my true passion, which would be to like work in a music studio, I'm fucking stuck. But I got to figure out my retirement years or some shit like that. Cause my ultimate goal, which also, let me tell you this was one of those situations where I was like, oh, I fucked up because I kind of painted someone a certain way when I shouldn't have. So I recently took my car to the mechanic just like last week. And it was this older guy who was like shuttling me home. And it was one of those things where I was like, in the movie I made in my head was like, because he was like, oh, you're a principal, because we dropped off this lady who was being dropped off across the street from where I first started teaching. And so I was like, oh, this was my school like 22 years ago. And she was like, oh, that's amazing. And so then she's like, what do you do now? You still teach? And I was like, actually, I'm a principal, go into that. And then the driver was like, oh, you're a principal? My brother's a principal. Another brother is like a principal and a professor. And my sister is a high school teacher. And so I was like, damn, this guy was over here just being a driver. I know, it's shitty. But that's what I was thinking in my head. And then he goes, hey, you're probably thinking like, this guy drives. He's like, I went to school for like business and finance. He's like, I actually used to run some of the finances for the Gucci, but only the watch division. And so he goes, oh, look at my Gucci watch. And he's like, and then once I was done with that, he's like, as all my family went into education, he's like, I went into like numbers. He's like, but I retired and then got bored. So I just said, you know what, it'd be a good job just being the shuttle driver for like Toyota. He's like, so it's cool. He's like, I get to interact with people. I get to drive back and forth. He's like, and this is my retirement job. And I was like, damn, you know what? This guy's fucking brilliant, because he didn't go work for, like he said, I'm still going to do something I really enjoy. He's like, look, I talked to you today. We had a great conversation. He's like, I know how to read a room. He's like, if the headphones go in, I don't talk. He's like, but you brought this up. So that was my opportunity to bring something up. And I was like, you know what? That's where I want to get to, where I can just let this go and just do something that's like more enjoyable. Because I've always said my goal for retirement is to be the guy on the back of the Disney tram who's just like, keep your hands in the tram. That's all I want to do. Because then I get into Disneyland for free.
Pause real quick. Fucking trams was all shut down when I went to Disney in April, and I was mad as hell.
Oh, yeah, to walk? Damn.
Bruh.
That's
far as hell.
Yeah, it is. Because they don't put parking close. So, anyways, with that, yeah, so, everybody, thank you for listening. Thank you guys for joining me this evening, especially Shaun being our super special guest, even though he is allegedly a cast member. Who knows?
I got shit to do.
That is true. And they put high demands on Shaun, so he's a busy guy.
Right.
But yeah, man, thanks to everybody. Thanks for listening. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. We out of here. Peace.
Yeah, man.
What you say, Grandma? Mama.
What?
What you say, Grandma? What you say?
Grandma's not here.
Grandma's not here. She not. She